stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and P's up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like a storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go dumb. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yup, point is, running to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and P's up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like a storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go dumb. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yup, point is, running to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I have to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga throwing threes and P's up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Drive it like a storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mary Drain the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga, ayy. Yup, point is, run it to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up out your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. The money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and P's up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Drive it like a storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mary Drain the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga, ayy. Yup, point is, run it to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up out your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like a storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mary drain the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit. Ayy, oh green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yup, point is, running to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. The money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like a storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mary drain the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit. Ayy, oh green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yup, point is, running to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. The money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like the store, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about a bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga, ayy. Yup, point is, run it to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, spit the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like the store, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about a bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yup, point is, run it to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, spit the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating and wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like the storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yeah, point is, run it to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up out your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch, every time they wanna act foul. Exotic weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like the storm, had the Charlie burnt her whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit. Ayy, oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yeah, point is, run it to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up out your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
What is good, chat? What is good? Your boys is back. Sorry for that long ass wait, but we here now. So we know y'all been waiting, but we in this motherfucker. And we already got an AI bot in here. All right. Yeah, you going to the gulag, bitch. But yeah, we in here, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? Everybody that's in here, what's good? We got all the chats and all that fly shit up, so we ain't gonna miss nothing tonight. I made sure I opened up all the chats, y'all. I'm not bugging tonight. I know what's going on. I got all this shit going, bro. Damn, my shit buzzing. Hold on, chat. I don't like that. One of these motherfuckers is out. Fuck it. Yeah, we good. But yeah, y'all, we in here home. Turn this damn overlay off. Bow, ta-da! Ta-da! We in here, man. What's good? Hopefully, y'all let me know how it looked too. I fixed the bit rate because it was hella low, and I found out our upload speed is like, nigga, our upload speed like 400 megabytes. So we can do a high ass bit rate. So I'm testing shit out. We gonna see if this shit work how it's supposed to. Let's see. Oh, yep. We decent. Yeah. That shit look a lot more clear. Yeah.
That me.
Yeah. This him. I had to do that because the dude, the clips was cool, but I could tell it was getting fuzzy because of the bit rate last night. So, nigga had to fix it. Because I forgot I also told the niggas to up our internet. I was like, nigga, we paying all this money, nigga, up the shit.
Put the pep in that shit, boy.
No, for real. Hit that bitch with a supercharger. Whatever equivalent to a Hellcat is in internet terms, I want.
Dada, I always want Dada.
Dada, I don't want Dada. Gotta have something for the skinny nigga. Man.
Extra medium.
Extra medium is a crazy ass size.
Freak ass size.
When you really think about it. You just get it small like a regular person. You gotta make the nigga feel big, man. Make him feel tall. Like, nah, bro. That's that bullshit. But
Not
yeah.
that bullshit, bro.
No. That's that other shit. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, we gonna watch some shit. Cause something came across my thing. Diddy out here doing crazy shit behind bars.
Didion,
hey. Man, hey, Didion's crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's out of pocket too. But yeah, this shit going on. Daphne Joy got some shit going on with Diddy. So we're gonna watch it. And yeah.
Vlad is at the center of a...
Oh, yep. My nigga on it tonight. I'm on that bullshit. Damn, motherfucker, click. Motherfucker, go through everything else but what I wanted to click on. Goddamn. All right, y'all. Let's get it.
Very gross tape being leaked, and I have an interesting theory about who exactly leaked this. Now, this all started with an interview that Vlad did 5 months ago, interviewing one of Diddy's hired guys, for lack of a better word, Sly Diggler, an adult entertainer, male adult entertainer. And in this interview, he would talk about his experience with Diddy and Daphne Joy in particular, and one of the freak-offs that they had. And he would also describe the size of, after being asked by Vlad, the size of Diddy's, downstairs. And he would say it was one of the smallest he had ever seen. And then Vlad would...
I didn't know the video was gonna go here, bro. We can go to a different video.
Yeah, man, we get the fuck out of here. I don't give a damn.
I don't give a damn. I thought the nigga did something behind the wall.
He did something.
Freaky man. All right, y'all. We can go to this V-neck. Dean the Great would never stop crashing out. Let's see. Oh, they got the pro dunker versus Olympic jumper. Are they gonna do a dunk competition? What the fuck are they doing? No. Nah, it look like some bullshit. I need to watch that. You go here?
Oh no. We're going out. Oh
bad. Bitch look like the bitch from Law and Order.
She then called him on the phone.
Benson?
Can I ask what I'm being
Benson,
charged with?
Yep, I will tell you here in just 1 second.
Do you think I'm going to resist and not be able to walk out of this office without my cuffs?
A school district superintendent is slapped with handcuffs right inside her own office.
Can you not walk me in cuffs through my entire workplace? Can I have Andrew go get my purse and bring it to me, and can we walk
She
out?
was a criminal.
We have the shocking allegations, and they are disturbing, from police detailing
Certified
how a
criminal.
months-long investigation into student misconduct led to consequences at the very top of the school chain. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Hey guys, before we start this episode of On the Case, I want to tell you about this app, Upside. It
Man,
gets you
hell
cash back
no.
on
You know,
everyday
fuck about that
purchases,
app,
like gas,
cuz.
groceries,
Hey, man, get
and
that nigga,
takeout. So
cuz.
here's what you do.
Man,
You just
get
download
that
Upside
nigga,
for
cuz.
free, claim it
Oh.
off
Get
for
him
a
before I
month.
do something to him.
Yeah, hey, no, this ain't going. Alright. Nigga try to hit us.
Never come with us like that, man.
No, free Momo.
Man, what up? what up? What
Variety
up?
of
What up,
reasons.
B?
It's
You know what I'm
always
saying?
shocking.
What up? What up, baby? What up, shawty? You know what I'm saying? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? I hope you doing good out there. Hope you having a blessed night. You know what I'm saying? Blessed day and shit. You know what I'm saying? My nigga, it's my partner Millie and shit. Say, hey, Millie, look at that. That nigga said, my desktop. That shit too funny. What up, Vito?
What's up? What's good?
Shocking,
You ain't
whatever
hear about
you
to
see.
watch
But I don't
the
think we've ever had a
superintendent go to
superintendent
jail.
in handcuffs. It's just something you don't see.
For some,
And you think of the
'cause
job
I
of
don't
the
think it involve
superintendent.
no
I mean, they
kid,
come with
but
some
it
pretty
might.
high stakes. I mean, this is the person who's the boss of the teachers, who is
She said that
ultimately
kid is in that closet.
responsible for setting the standard
A
of
lot of these
education,
women like
integrity,
superintendents
for
and teachers, they be
discipline
the
across the
ones
board.
doing a
So
lot of
any
crazy shit,
slip-ups
too.
can cause
They just don't get told
serious
on as much, I
and in
think.
some cases irreversible damage to a district's reputation. But sometimes protecting the reputation of a school district can backfire in a big way. And that is exactly what is alleged to have occurred in this particular case. Now, you just saw the moment on police body cam where officers take this particular superintendent into custody. But first, you need to understand how we got to this point. So let's dive right into it. This is all taking place in Longview, Washington. It's just about 5 miles from the Oregon state border. And
Man, I
overall,
know
this
that's
city, it's
what the
moderately
title's about.
sized, has nearly 39,000 people, according to U.S.
don't like
News
the
and World
materials,
Report. The
man.
school
That shit
district
look
with
like
nearly
couch.
6,400 students. Niche.com gives
The
this school
IKEA
district a
joint.
B- rating. The administration was specifically given a B rating. So it's not a terrible grade. It's a pretty average school district, just in terms of how this website.
Oh yeah, they chased the little boy out the store. They let the Asian nigga off.
Yeah, I seen a picture. It was so many police officers guarding that nigga stove.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bruh, it was like a sea of SUVs.
Yeah, cause it's liable to have a riot after that. Cause that's crazy. Cause they said he was suspected of shoplifting. He never shoplifted.
Yeah, cause for them to say that mean when they killed him, they ain't find nothing on him. I
Yeah.
mean, when he
Shot.
shot him, they ain't find nothing on him.
Mhm,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
still
dead ass wrong for that.
You can go to jail for a long time, nigga.
It's down there like that case in L.A. where when that Asian lady killed the little girl.
Mm-hmm. That's what started the riots.
Yeah, that's down there like the same shit though. That's probably why they did, cause they know that shit wrong. Like, bro, you know niggas gonna be mad about that.
I feel like they do shit too to get like shit to get the people riled up to do shit like that too. So you feel me? It's fucked up. It's out of pocket, but you know,
What, little boy 14?
something like that. Little 14.
You know what I'm saying, bro. And they be wondering why niggas be hypersensitive about race-related topics where it's like another race or somebody black, cause it's just like situations like this where it's like, bruh, what you call it?
Mm-hmm. Like, bruh.
What else would it be? That's like you saying, well, he shouldn't have stole. He didn't. So what you call that?
They gonna be, well, he shouldn't have been in the store, so he can't walk into a store.
As a 14-year-old black little boy, that what you telling me?
Yeah, I got $5. I'm trying to give me a drink and some
You know
chips.
what I'm saying? Like, what you called it? It ain't nothing else but the call. It ain't nothing else but motherfucking prejudice and racism.
In its highest form.
Like, through the whole shit, the nigga doing it and getting off.
Mm-hmm. So, like, they know they fucking wrong. They should have never did that shit. But, you know, we can't, with a country that has fucked us multiple times, like just as a people, I don't expect nothing less. I don't want it to happen, and I'm down to do whatever we need to change it, but we can't expect they won't do that.
No, facts though. Like, it's just fucked up.
We gotta live that like that.
When it happened though, because it's just like, how do the little boy prevent that from happening aside from never going in that store? And it's fucked up because it's like, bro, a kid shouldn't have to walk on eggshells or be so aware that it's like, damn, I can't even just go to the store. Like, come on, bro. It's like certain shit that it just shouldn't happen, fam. Like, what the fuck? Because how I prepare for that? Why? Like, it's different if, like, we talking about a gang shoot. I went to the store where I know niggas I don't fuck with. Yeah, that's different. But the nigga working at the store did this. Come on, cuz. How I avoid that? It's like you go to a restaurant, you get killed by the chef. It's like, nigga, I can't even get some food. Like, I ain't know these niggas was gonna do that.
There was no reason for that to even happen.
So, like, how you avoid that, how you get around it, but you gotta call spade, bro. That shit was bogus as fuck. It's just what it is.
Fact, but
you can't defend it, bro. Let people be angry, bro. Don't start trying to tell niggas how to feel, cause you ain't as mad about it. Like,
no, on God.
You can be cool with it or just sizing on it, but people that's very upset, very vocal, very angry, like, let them be.
Let them get their emotions out.
No, fat. What up, little bro?
It's okay, bro. Man, but yeah, you just gotta. I don't know. It's one of them things to where if they do riot, I'm not mad. Fuck up Bruh Store and go fuck up some other shit.
But they can't. That's the fucked up part about it. Y'all know it's so wrong that y'all overly prepared. So anybody that do anything, it's just like, it's one of them things where it's like, I mean, you could, but bro, what is that gonna help with what we trying to do? With you just either get beat, go to jail, or both.
Or die.
So it's like, nah. That's why it's even more fucked up, because, yeah, we would be tearing this bitch up, but they dumb deep up here.
And we learned not to fuck our own shit up after the last couple.
Yeah, it just wouldn't even be smart to run in there just straight up, because it's like, bro, you got to get through the SUVs first. Man, they finna be beating the fuck out of us. That shit ain't finna work.
They gonna shoot a nigga, bro. They ain't beating shit. They gonna shoot a nigga. I know it.
No, facts, but you know, their first line of niggas is getting beat. But if you break through there, you ain't making it. Anybody get close to this store getting popped, whether it's with them bags or real bullets. But you leaving hurt. It ain't gonna be safe. They gonna definitely get their shit out. That's how it was able to happen. Because they don't give a fuck about no nigga out there. What is it, South Carolina or some shit like that?
I think so.
It's in Columbia, but you know, that shit in a few places.
That's like D.C., South Carolina.
Nigga, we got Columbia and Tennessee. So, shit. I think it was South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I literally just seen that shit.
South Carolina, yep.
Oh, true. Yeah. Man, come on. Shit going on.
That shit fucked up. But, hey, yo, people just need to stop being so prejudiced and racist.
Can't. Too much rhetoric out here enforcing it. Too much propaganda. It ain't enough people that know the people that they pushing it against. Like, it's not a lot of people that know black people in these areas where it's like, yeah, the few black people there, damn near in danger. Because it's like, nigga, I don't know this little nigga. And it's like, bro, it shouldn't even matter. But it's like, he black. This is a white area. He probably don't be over here. And he just so happened to be over here. And that's how shit really be happening. Like, niggas don't be, in certain areas, bro. It's like I told you, even where I'm from, that shit segregated. You ain't just lollygagging where white people live if you don't live there. Like, nigga, for what? Your mama never tell you that. What you doing over there if you don't know nobody over there?
But they even go for here. Certain cities out here, you just don't be chilling in. Because you know you're going to get fucked with. Like, low-key sometimes, that can be Walnut Creek. Sometimes.
It look like it.
Man, Walnut Creek can be like that sometimes. Like, at night, man.
Anywhere there's some money at, bro, that's where black people really get fucked with the most. Like, a place of business or where money at. Just a nice area. But definitely a place of business. Like, you could be anywhere where they feel like, nigga, you ain't supposed to be in here.
What you doing over here, bro?
Yeah, even, bro, he just in a regular-ass store. This ain't no special store.
I'm trying to
but
get
he
something.
just suspected him of stealing. Just because of what? Have he stole before? Do he got a record of stealing?
No.
Like, what, he had his hands in his pockets? Niggas do that sometimes.
It's cold. I might be nervous, nigga. I don't know. Shit.
What? But, yeah. I said all that to say, yeah, we seen it.
Well, yeah. But hopefully they
ranks. What really stands out, though, is that this school district is reportedly in the top 50 for athletes in the entire state of Washington. And that's something that could really bolster attention on the district. And it is a piece of information that is very important to this story. So let's talk about the superintendent, Karen Cloninger. According to the Longview Public Schools website, she has been the district superintendent since the summer of 2024. Her LinkedIn profile showcases several educational leadership roles since 2010. So for the first year and a half of this superintendent run, Cloninger hasn't been showing up in the headlines. It appears that things have been running relatively smoothly, at least publicly. And according to the shocking allegations from a couple of students, the reality, though, was far from the truth, in their opinion. Now, we have a probable cause affidavit from the Longview Police Department, and it includes forensic interviews with several students on the Mark Morris High School male basketball team. And this goes back to February 9th. And in those interviews, the players make very disturbing accusations of misconduct stemming from November 2025 to late January of this year. So this is what one student told a school resource officer, quote, "Since the beginning of the season, he and other JV players have been pulled into the varsity team room and sexually and physically assaulted multiple times." Now, the rest of this paragraph, it's too graphic to read word for word. He was sexually assaulted by multiple other players. In one instance, involved a can of biofreeze. 2 days later, on February 11th, another victim came forward to police in a forensic interview. Quote, he went on to explain that he was a freshman at MMHS and had been selected to play on the JV basketball.
I get it, she didn't commit the sexual assault. She covered it up. Because I'm so like, nigga, what? Wait a minute. But now I see what the fuck happened.
What the fuck y'all got going on in this basketball team?
Yeah,
nigga?
they did something to some players experience some shit. She didn't do shit about it.
You know what's weird about some of them school teams in them white areas when they be shipping kids out and doing shit like that? Them people on them team be doing some weird shit.
I mean, bro, this how they get down, fool. Like, think about what these type of niggas think funny. It be gay shit, like humiliating shit. Like, why would you even think to do that type of shit? So it's like, nigga, the niggas that did that could just been on some like going way too far type shit. But this regular for them, and the niggas they did it to told, but the motherfucker they told probably know, you know, this kind of common, but I can't treat it like it's common. So we just gonna act like it never happened.
No.
But you know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. These niggas be freaked out, bro.
Well, we saw the video of Jalen Green when he was 18 on the G League at night.
That's just too freaky, girl. Like, why you touching me We in the locker room.
Like, bro, I don't like being touched. Don't touch me.
I might
bro.
have just took my shorts off. So now I'm in my shirt, draw, sock, and you come touching me. For what?
Back up.
Like, bro, even when I put my clothes on, why you touching me? You want to fight? Why you touching me? Like,
What do you want, cuz?
No, like weird shit like that, man. Nah, cuz.
That Josh Hart shit.
She said, "Let me see." Hey, that's another channel.
That's on his private show.
That's on the private page. Oh man. She said, "Oh my bad. Yeah. Well,
She said, "Where the fence, the nigga?"
Yeah, you gotta hit the main line for that.
Basketball team. He then described
Well, take it out then.
6
Hey.
incidents of assault, both physical and sexual,
With
that
the
occurred on
fellas.
5 or 6 separate occasions starting the first week of basketball and continuing through January 28th, 2026, with approximately 6 additional times where they had attempted to assault
damn.
him. According to police, he explained that several of the members of the MMHS varsity basketball team had forcibly taken him into the varsity team room and rubbed themselves on him. The player also mentioned a can of biofreeze
See what
being
I'm talking
used
about?
too. The
Like,
student went on to describe
fucking with the
another
nigga on
incident
some
where
gay
he was
shit.
dragged into the varsity team room. He explained
Rub themselves on him. What
All
you
right,
think-
Diddy.
What you think they in there doing?
Baby
Probably
Diddy
putting their balls on their face or something. That's what I'm saying. They think they type of shit funny. They think that shit cool. I'm just telling you.
Yo, hey, nah.
Listen, what they said they humped him with their clothes on.
Why y'all trying to open this nigga like it's a
And they
video?
said, and some did not. So that means you had niggas that watched him get held down, probably watched him held him down while niggas just humped him. Ain't even, like I said, they not really doing it. It's just like, bro, why are y'all doing this?
I
to
would have
him?
stabbed one of them, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Why you think
Like this.
this is, what is this? Because if y'all was gay, maybe y'all would have did it. But it's like, y'all niggas is just in there.
They might be behind closed doors.
But I'm saying, though, yeah, behind closed doors. Just take it. If that's the case.
No, hold on now.
Bro, I'm just saying.
No.
Stop hacking. Hey, if you playing, don't play like that then. That's what I'm saying. You snatch the boy in there, you hold him down. What you think he think finna happen? You finna take it. And then you just gyrating all up against me and let me go? I'm telling. But all I'm saying is, if you gonna do that,
You might as well
Bruh.
go all the way.
cause that is confusing now. What are you doing then? Can you explain this to me? Cause you can explain.
It's the N word. It wouldn't be technically all the way. I can't say the word. You can't say the word, but it would be the N word.
Bro, like,
Cause I most of the time when they describe the N word, it'd be like shit like this, groping, touching, all type of, but nothing, not no fool.
but I'm saying, what are you doing? What's the point? Why are you doing it?
Grooming
then?
him.
That's gay. Just be gay.
It's gay. We know it's gay, but they
But
won't
what
say
I'm
it.
saying, just whoever y'all is, just be gay. That sounds gay.
But the problem is the niggas don't want to be gay if they gay. That's the problem.
It's so acceptable to be gay right now. Just be gay.
They let Frank Ocean do it.
Man, let anybody do it. You know who they don't let do it? Niggas that say they not gay.
That's the problem. Niggas will be. It's
Just say you gay.
It's like the
you
niggas
can
that
be gay.
say they don't like big girls and they be like, man, I don't, and then you see them down the street walking one.
Yeah, that's y'all fault. Stop lying like you don't be kissing niggas. Just say you be kissing niggas and niggas will let you kiss niggas, but you can't be like, man, y'all gay, and then go do some gay shit. That's gay.
Cause then you start doing shit, and then the girl starts playing you, the nigga start. Now you in a whole conundrum, nigga. Like,
Yeah, that's why you do irregular shit like this. Be like, yeah, we should hold him down and hump him.
put your balls on his face. Like,
Yeah.
cuz what?
Yeah, let's just make it seem like we gonna take it, but don't.
Almost, but not really.
Gay. All I know is that he's gay.
Gay, gay, gay.
What the fuck, bruh?
There ain't no other way around it. Like,
I'm thinking she did something. She covered it up. These niggas the freaks.
Hey, bro, I thought I was feeling bad for the basketball team. I said, that's crazy. The superintendent's coming down there doing it. Then find out.
These niggas the culprit.
And what's up with the basketball coach? Nigga, where the fuck you at?
Shit, he probably was like, man, hey, y'all keep that shit down. Y'all think, bro, this probably culture. I ain't no telling why they do that freaky shit, because you gotta think they do that freaky shit in all their groups. This is just a basketball team, and nigga, that ain't nothing but another group. You put another, ain't no telling what the other group's doing, the other secret societies. Because everybody can't get in the locker room. Teams ain't nothing but approved secret societies. You can't, everybody ain't in on what we doing unless you in here.
I'm gonna let y'all know as a nigga who hooped up damn near up until a professional point, none of my locker rooms never had this.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't, but you ain't played with predominantly white people. This is a white area.
Oh, no.
They grew up, like, cause it's one thing when, like, you know, one nigga get shipped to the good white school. No, I'm talking about this is where they grew.
This is
like,
where they're prominent
you
at.
Go to their school as a hood nigga. That shit ain't gonna.
You in the melting pot,
Yeah,
bitch.
that shit ain't even gonna phase you. You gonna be like, y'all niggas gay and leave. But a nigga that grew up there, this normal to him. They probably been acting gay all their life.
They always do this.
He always put his dick on us. That's how we have fun. It's just like, bro, y'all gay. Just saying.
He do what?
Bro, that's
What?
literally what they did to him. They all put their dicks on him.
mean, Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, yo. No.
That's how they did it. Nigga like, yeah, man, we all get thrusted. Like, bro, nigga try to make you feel bad. It's like, man, so you don't be on for your friends. Like,
no, nigga. What the fuck?
But that's obviously what they do. So if you grew up there, that's what you would know. But nigga, you ain't grow up in no fucking area like that. If niggas was doing that type of shit where we grew up at, something happened to them. The nigga that they tried gonna kill them. That's the difference between where we grew up and where they at. Ain't no fucking way a nigga ain't telling no teacher. The teacher gonna have to come back out of there hear gunshot. Y'all get down. This man done killed all them.
Yo, what?
Bruh, that shit's not happening, bruh. Niggas, like, that's a different type of victim to, like I said, to be fucking put in a position where you didn't get it took. But it's like, if they wanted it, they damn near could have got it. That ain't
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, that's like, bruh, you ain't,
They literally kidnapped you into a locker room, nigga, and thrusted you.
Yeah, a nigga with, you know, I guess a bad upbringing, he gonna do something to you.
I ain't gonna lie.
He gonna do something to you.
Something crazy, too.
Because you might trigger him. That nigga probably went through that at the crib and probably couldn't fight back. You probably gonna trigger that nigga, he gonna kill you.
Something crazy.
That's the difference. That's why you can't play with niggas that been through shit. Because you don't know what they done been through and you might
that
do
trauma
some
gonna
shit.
come out on you, nigga.
Nah, fact. It's like, yeah, all right. You think you finna, okay. He ain't
Right,
playing. Y'all joking with this gay shit. He finna stab everybody in here. Oh, we gonna catch y'all niggas out the school, like I said. Man, they was good students. They was good kids. Yeah.
Everybody.
Man, what? Yeah, well, he put his dick on me, so I shot him. And the nigga said he held me down. It's only right.
It's only one way out.
Man, that's in a box. Come on, bro. Freak ass kids. See what else they did.
Several of the varsity members
And they used a bottle of biofreeze.
and
Nigga, what the
humped
fuck
him.
you
He
did
explained that some of them had their clothes on and some did not. He
Hey,
explained
what's
they
good, bro?
forced him up
So
against the
some of them
white
were
dry
naked.
erase board in the varsity
Wait,
team.
hold on. Wait, nah.
The nigga said they twerked on the nigga so hard and forced into a whiteboard so hard he ended up with a cut and a bruise on his hip. So they not only was making him a victim, but they was also
Shaking
doing
ass
it to
on
themselves.
They shaking ass. On
Shaking. I'ma assume the niggas that was naked was the one shaking ass on him, because that's a horrible situation.
That is
so
crazy.
We're gonna that's the situation. You niggas are making yourself victims. Cause like I said, if y'all not gay, then why are you putting yourself in a position you putting burnt ass cheek on another man's meat? Your burnt ass cheek. What are y'all doing? That's why I'm confused, because it's like, all right, if they dry humping him, that's humiliating him. But if you shaking your ass on him, I'm puzzled. How is that humiliating him? And are y'all gay? I need to know, man. I gotta figure this out.
There ain't no question, nigga. There is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This is crazy though. Like, why would they do that?
If this ain't gay, you like 85%.
Cause I'm just trying.
I'm puzzled by like.
Yeah, cause it's like they made him a victim, but then they turn around and it's like I said, they like do it to themselves by twerking on him. Like a nigga, you done seen videos of niggas make a nigga twerk when they rob him.
That's questionable too, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
but that's
hey,
what I'm
nigga,
saying.
why you want to see this grown ass man? You hate shake ass, bro.
But a nigga twerking.
You hate him because you like him.
A nigga twerking is humiliating. So why would they do that to him? They shaking their own ass.
What's good, Helen?
Yeah, fuck me. I'm not here.
No, wolf heart.
Yeah, so I guess everybody got somebody that only acknowledge them, but B say was up there about it. All right. Fuck me. I ain't
You get the first acknowledgement though.
No, facts, but I'm saying though.
At least they don't do us how Zoe do us.
Man, yeah, she always said everybody else. She's just like, where T's loud? Damn. All right.
For sure.
But it ain't even at work.
DB.
She said, sorry, it's good.
Nah, you good.
What's poppin', Wolf? What's good, old man? What up, my nigga?
Hefe, what's good, bro?
Man, I feel like I know what you're saying. And that's cool, they ain't, but they need
They
to.
gotta see.
Yeah. All right, fuck it. It said, how do you know that you're at a gay barbecue party? All the hot dogs taste like shit.
You're crazy, cuz. That's out of pocket, yo. Hey.
That's a disgusting joke. Where you be practicing that at? I'm saying I'm on live next week with y'all.
Hell yeah, he gonna be there. Pull up. We in this motherfucker.
You got any more jokes? That's the only one. Let's get back to this freaky shit. Paul.
He explained he was twerked on so hard and forced into the whiteboard so hard, he ended up with a cut and a bruise on his head. Throughout the interview, the student made it clear that hazing behavior happened every time he was dragged into the varsity team room, and that all the varsity team, except a few players, had participated in the hazing activities at some point. He explained that what he called hazing was the players twerking on him, pretending to hump him, and rubbing their bare butts or male genitalia on his body. Now, these allegations in themselves, they are shocking, they're disturbing, and they clearly allegedly went way too far for way too long. So now the question becomes, when did any staff become aware of this? A student victim told police he reported nearly all the information to the high school principal, vice principal, and head basketball coach. He said he was pulled into the vice principal's office nearly every day for 2 weeks prior to his forensic interview with police. However, he said that he left out details of sexual assault with school staff because he didn't want to get his teammates in trouble. Though he said that he did bring up the biofreeze incident along with one occasion where the first student victim told him he was full-on raped in the varsity team room. Now, one of the victim's mothers also told police that she received a call from the vice principal.
Well, I guess they are gay.
Telling her that something.
Hey, yo, nah. Hey, everybody, stop. Stop.
I stand corrected.
That-
These niggas are gay.
Full blown.
They are taking it. Well, goddamn.
Hey, what kind of people are y'all, dog? Like, you know there's people out here where you ain't gotta do that type of shit. Right?
Yeah, it's gay men. They're like men.
They have an app for it.
I just feel like we need to get these young niggas some weapons. We gotta get y'all some fighting classes.
Hey, and
What the fuck?
y'all don't want niggas to take knives to school. Nigga,
Hey, come on, girl. Man got took, girl. What the fuck?
at school where you're supposed to be a safe place, nigga.
By a teammate.
Where this is.
Yeah,
Hey,
man,
if
sick,
Cuz would have
bro.
killed everybody, just give him 8 months of house arrest. Like, cause yeah, you shouldn't have killed him, but we understand the passion why you killed him. Cause that's fucking insane, dude.
Man, that man got took, bro. I can't believe it. More what somebody did.
He said it was the freshman, and the fact that y'all did that is crazy.
Y'all niggas sick of hair. Y'all going to jail. Y'all and the superintendent covering this shit up.
Following week, on February 4th, the woman's son had already gone to the vice principal about his alleged assault, but the vice principal told him there was an ongoing investigation. So at this point, this investigation was being handled within the school, and according to police, a few of the alleged students involved were suspended for their conduct. So when
Nigga
does
shoulda
law
got
enforcement get
expelled
involved
and
in this
sent to
case?
jail.
According to the police report, on February 8th, an officer was notified about an active investigation related to firearm threats at Mark Morris High School. And at the same time, the officer also became aware of a mass walkout being planned at the school the following day related to alleged sexual assault, possibly connected to the basketball team. Now, the same day, another police officer was informed by a parent about his son being sexually assaulted on the team. Police responded to the high school for the firearm threat investigation, but also inquired about the sexual assault
I got
allegations
me a few
with the
out.
school resource officer. Quote,
Not
during
too
my brief
crazy.
conversation with the SRO, it was apparent
Think about 5.
he did not have substantial details
That's a good
related
amount for
to
you.
any active or completed
Oh,
sexual
shit.
assault investigation. The
Improvements.
officer informed me, although he was familiar that some students from the boys basketball team had been recently disciplined related to conduct, he was unaware of any specific criminal actions that were alleged to have occurred. Due to my unfamiliarity with the SRO and school's discipline process, I asked the SRO to inform me how it typically works inside the school. The officer confirmed that typically the school will handle most investigations internally and only notify law enforcement if school administration deems it necessary as needed or should they need additional resources. So we are jumping around a bit here, but now it's February 10th. And an official report comes into the police station surrounding sexual assault allegations at the high school. Officers looked through digital evidence provided by one of the victims, including a JV group chat that actively discussed and shared photos related to the sexual assault incidents as it became widely published on social media. This is in addition to the forensic
What?
interviews. Quote, I later watched 2 forensic interview videos related to the victims. During both videos, both victims agreed to be truthful and honest. Both mentioned
fuck they
conduct
agreed to?
that
Niggas
appeared
be
to be
lying.
assaultive, sexual, and criminal. Further, the descriptions provided of the events related to the events clearly represented conduct that would have warranted mandatory notification to law enforcement as reported. So now police are starting to raise some eyebrows, not just at the students that allegedly carried out these sexual assaults, but also they're raising their eyebrows at the school with allegations as heinous as the ones described. What was stopping the school from getting law enforcement involved? Regardless, they're now fully engaged in this operation and conduct a search warrant on school property, including communications between executive leadership at the school. Officers also had their eyes on the vice principal, someone named Paul Beckel, who seemed to have led this internal investigation. On February 13th, officers went to his house because he happened to be absent from school the day before, the same day the search warrant was carried out on the school.
this is
Quote,
how
we
we
arrived
shoot
at his home in
Yeah.
an unmarked police SUV wearing plain clothes. We knocked on the front door of his home and his wife walked around to greet us. We asked if Paul was available and she explained he had gone into Longview to meet with Superintendent Karen Cloninger and Assistant We asked if Paul was available, and she explained he had gone into Longview to meet with Superintendent Karen Cloninger and Principal Aaron Whitwright. She then called him on the phone and told him we were there and were interested in talking to him. He explained he was out near Calumet, Washington, and would be heading back toward Longview shortly. Police then met Vice Principal Beckel at a nearby coffee shop to speak with him, and here's where things definitely get interesting. Police ask him about his investigation, and at first he minimizes the extent of what the student victims had told him, but then police show him his own notes about the biofreeze incident. Quote, Paul followed up with a comment about how that was only one sentence in 26 pages. Paul then got defensive and shifted the conversation. He made comments indicating we had more information than he had been given based on the fact we had served a search warrant at the school. Despite the fact, his detailed notes indicated he had been told by the victim that biofreeze had been sprayed in his behind. Paul went on to explain that his process was to investigate as thoroughly as he could and then relay the information to others for guidance on what to do next. But Paul didn't say who he consulted for that guidance. However, police did have evidence of consultation between the vice principal and other executive office members. Quote, we referenced Paul's notes where he had written about meeting with Rick Eugene Parrish, Longview School District's Executive Director of Communications and Operations, and Principal Aaron Whitwright in person and with Karen Cloninger over the phone on February 4th. His notes explained that they had discussed mandatory reporting, and he was informed they were not obligated to report at that time. His notes also talked about possibly sending some sort of communication out to the MMHS and Longview School District, and how he was again told no. The vice principal allegedly went on to explain that the school resource officer didn't think there was enough evidence for criminal charges in this case. However, it came to light that he allegedly didn't share all of the details of his investigation with the SRO, including the biofreeze incident. Officers then went and interviewed the school principal, Aaron Whitwright. Quote, Detective Hartley asked Aaron what his involvement had been with the investigation at MMHS involving the boys' basketball team. He explained he had been informed about the situation around January 28th or January 29th. He explained he had not directly interviewed any of the students involved, but had been present for some of the interviews and had been given access to Paul's notes throughout the investigation. He also explained that anything that had come up, I was in communication with our district office, Dr. Cloninger, and or Andy Schoonover, who's the district's executive director of student services. So now it's starting to come to light that the superintendent, Karen Cloninger, was allegedly in communication about the incident since the end of January, and the principal became informed about new information. Quote, I asked Aaron when, if at all, he had spoken with the SRO. He explained that he had met with Andy and Karen Cloninger about a CPS report. He explained that Karen told him she was going to consult with the attorney. The attorney told Karen to have them consult with the SRO. He believed it was later that day or the following day that he and Andy met with the SRO and discussed the case. He explained they had shared information with the SRO about, quote, butts in faces and genitalia across faces, and that they were told it wasn't a crime unless the, quote, parents want to pursue that. I clarified with Aaron and asked what detail had specifically been shared with the SRO. Aaron then backpedaled and explained that they had told the SRO about butts in faces and dancing around, but couldn't remember what else had been shared. I asked if the SRO had been given specific details about which students were involved or had been given access to any of Paul's notes, and he said no. When asked if the SRO had been given adequate information to make an educated decision about the circumstances, Aaron initially said he believed the SRO had been given enough information. I then asked why the specific details of the school's investigation had not been provided to the SRO. Aaron said, I don't know. I explained what the details in Paul's notes, which Aaron had access to from the beginning, seemed to be enough to potentially amount to criminal, sexual, and physical assaults, but the details provided to the SRO had seemingly been very vague and lacking in critical context, which could have drastically changed the SRO's recommendation on how to handle the situation. I asked if it was accurate, and Aaron indicated it was. Now, it's important to note that on February 19th, police said they had enough probable cause to arrest 2 of the student basketball players on charges including second-degree rape, unlawful imprisonment with sexual motivation, indecent liberties, and indecent exposure. So now it appears school leadership was allegedly withholding potentially criminal activity from the school resource officer, and we're also getting a glimpse into how Superintendent Karen Cloninger was also allegedly on board with this plan. So at this point, law enforcement is taking a closer look at the superintendent and trying to figure out where she communicated with leadership about this investigation. So police conduct a search warrant on her devices. And here's what police allegedly found. Quote, on or around February 20th, I began reviewing the data associated with Karen Cloninger's cell phones to include viewing the devices themselves. As I was reviewing the Cellbrite extractions, I came across many chat messages that showed they were recovered from deleted. I would later confirm this by hand searching the phone to include verifying tons of deleted messages on both devices. Further, I would recover many of the deleted messages and confirm many of them were as reported in the Cellbrite extraction. I would take multiple photos during the search of both devices to include creating 2 Cellbrite reports relating to emails and chats. It should be noted, there are significant messages and emails that were visible during the search of Karen Cloninger's devices that confirm these devices, along with other administrators' devices, were used for communication related to not only Longview Public School District business, but their investigation and handling into the allegations associated with this case. According to the police, Cloninger's laptop also showed modified files titled Summary of Events, along with text exchanges about a deleted email surrounding the investigation. Further, based on my training and experience, public records include any document, photo, email, or text message regarding government business, regardless of physical form. Based off the above information, it appears Karen Cloninger is conducting Longview School District business related to messages on her devices and emails and likely deleting public information. So now, police are putting together their puzzle on why they were not allegedly involved from the start. And at the end of the day, Karen Cloninger was the woman allegedly making the final call in the investigation. So now we're fast forwarding to May 21st, and police head to Longview School District headquarters, and they arrest the superintendent.
How you doing? Good, how are you? Hanging in there.
Set your phone on the table. I'll be sure around for your hands on your back.
You and I will just walk her out.
Click, clack.
Those feel too tight.
I think they're okay. Can I ask what I'm being charged with?
Yep, I will tell you here in just 1 second.
Can I get my attorney on the phone?
You'll have an opportunity to.
Because I don't have that number memorized, and I'll need my phone to call.
I didn't say I was taking your phone.
Do you think I'm going to resist and not be able to walk out of this office without my cuffs?
We have procedures now.
I don't believe you are resisting. I didn't say you were.
Okay.
So go ahead and step to your left here, and I'll get the document out real quick, and we'll read to you the exact charges. So. Karen, you are being arrested today for tampering. Oh, sorry. Tampering with a witness, failure to report, and obstructing a law enforcement officer. So, my partner here is going to escort you out, and you're going to go this way. To the jail. We're going to be back, okay?
Okay. Am I not able to take my phone so I can call my attorney?
Your phone can go with you. These are your phones?
Yes, I
Which
don't
one do
need
you
the
want?
work phone. I just need
Work
my
phone, personal?
Yes.
I'll take
Personal
that.
can go with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
Like a wallet, purse, anything like that, personal.
I do have a purse in my office.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I allowed to take that?
We can grab that. Yeah.
Can Andrew, can can you not walk me in cuffs through my entire workplace? Can I have
Bitch,
Andrew
you
go
is
get my
going
purse
out in these
and
shackles.
bring it to me, and can we walk out the back door?
What's up?
Thank you.
Yeah, that was on the bus. They would've said, nigga, shut up.
Wait. Hey, will you have Medina pull up to this door right here? We'll just go out that door. Is that better if we go out this door?
Yes, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Can I have you go get please?
No.
I don't think.
Actually, ma'am.
I just wanted to.
I don't think to be over here right now.
Purse. Thank you.
You will have the ability to.
Is he on this side? Yeah, she's in custody.
Lonnie, can you log one in custody?
Let's pull him to this side.
You were really
We'll
broken
walk out there. All right, Karen.
All right.
Cloninger is brought outside through a back door as they head to the squad car.
Okay.
I'm shaking my head too. Yeah. See, when niggas get guilty, they always want to start things.
This is recorded. Okay. And there's two of us here to.
Are you just wearing these trousers? Like, there's no underpants?
Like you don't have any pockets underneath, do you? Okay. I'll switch you.
I'm not going to check. The jail will ask, you have nothing concealed in your mouth.
Yes.
Take a seat. Can you move? I just have to see both of you.
Cuffs are,
They're tight.
they're a little tight.
Okay. Let me buck you and I'll take a look. Alright. Actually, I should have did that. Alright. So just turn and face that way. Like just rotate your body so I can look at your cuffs. I know it's a little awkward. Okay, which one? I wonder if it's your bracelets. Is it this one? Or the other one? Okay.
I think I'll be okay.
Alright. So I can get 2 fingers in there. I understand they're not the most comfortable thing, especially with this seat, but
As far as the phone call goes, like to your attorney, the jail should let you go through your phone to get that phone number if you need it. Okay. And then you can make that phone call. Okay. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm gonna head back.
Oh boy.
Cloninger made her first court appearance on May 22nd as she is facing charges of tampering with a witness, failure to report, and obstructing a law enforcement officer. She was given a $5,000 bail, which she later posted. Her formal arraignment is scheduled for June 10th. Meanwhile, the Longview Police Department say they're not done when it comes to charges. They are expecting to file charges against Andrew Schoonover, who is the district's executive director of student services. Those charges include failure to report and making a false or misleading statement to a public servant. On May 22nd, the Longview School District's acting superintendent released the following statement in part, quote, "We know this matter has caused deep concern, pain, and questions for students, families, staff, and the broader Longview community. Student safety, care, and well-being must be at the center of every decision we make now and as we move forward. Collectively, we also have a responsibility to continue to ensure this matter is reviewed carefully, fairly, and impartially. As your acting superintendent, please know that my commitments and the commitments of our school district are clear. Understand the facts surrounding the alleged student and staff misconduct, cooperate with investigations, follow the law, and ultimately take appropriate accountability action. I understand that trust is earned through consistency and that accountability requires action. Today's action reaffirms our district's commitment to both, as well as our desire to gather the facts. Now, the statement also said 5 staff members have been placed on administrative leave, and they have hired their own outside investigator in addition to the ongoing police investigation. That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law and Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, and we're also now...
Fuck that school district, though. That's a fucked up ass.
Freak ass nigga.
Doing freaky ass shit. That shit trash. Alright, where we going with this now?
Go to that one, the new joint you just put. Go up. Go up. Yeah, to the left, that nigga. 12 hours ago.
Yep. The sinister case of Jonathan Sherrill.
You think it's Cheryl or Curl?
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this little video, we are going to South Carolina for a story of seafood and jealousy, because you know what? Obsession is back on the menu, boys. It all started when a successful restaurant owner, a restaurateur, said the wrong thing to the wrong person. And another wrong person thought it would be the right time to do some killing. You got that? Because I didn't. Buckle up, buckaroos, because it all began in Bluffton, South Carolina. Let's give it a go.
Carolina, bro. What's
going up over there? I don't know if they got any water.
Located deep in the low country, Bluffton is straight out of that old southern antebellum type crack. You got the Spanish moss, you got the good old boys, you got the yes ma'am, you got the murder, y'all, you got the usual. These days, the jewel of South Central Beaufort County, close to Savannah, Georgia, is home to around 30,000 folk, primarily rich and retired. What that mean, nigga? Quickly of late. You know, therefore, the crime rate is low. It's actually the second safest city in the state. Though this story will dissuade you of any notions of safety. I'm sure didn't it all begin in the autumn of 2015. The weather was cooling. Things once green, now turning to yellow and red. And just before Halloween, on October 28, 2015, this 911 call came in to the Bluffton Police Department.
911, where's your emergency?
This is 39 Pinecrest Way.
You said 39? You said 39 Pinecrest Way?
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on there?
I don't know. It's in the city. I'm not outside. Someone's inside.
How you know that?
This call came in just after 1 a.m. from 39 Pinecrest Way. The caller had just seen their good friend, Jonathan Sherrill, shot to death right in front of them.
I know some English.
Racing to the home, arriving there minutes after that call, police found 2 people still alive inside the home. One was the caller, the victim's friend. The other was the victim's roommate. They were escorted outside, and at the rear of the home, on the back patio, they found the victim himself. That was 33-year-old Jonathan Sherrill.
Damn RP John.
Jonathan was sitting on patio furniture, where his friend said he had been shot. He looked like he had just fallen asleep, his leg crossed, phone still in hand, till police saw the vicious wound to the side of his face. There was blood spatter on the side of the house, and also shell damage to the house. Jonathan had taken a shotgun shell to the side of his head. It was instant. It was a very confusing and chaotic scene to begin with, right? The victim's roommate, who also lived there, they said, you know, he said he had been in bed, he had been asleep, when all of a sudden, boom, that's what he hears, so he says, runs outside, finds Jonathan dead. But a friend had an even more intimate story with the murder that had happened right in front of him. He said he'd come over to Jonathan's a couple of hours earlier, they'd been having a few drinks, shooting the shit on that back patio. When the friend said all of a sudden he heard what sounded like a shotgun being loaded coming from the darkness behind him. He opened his mouth to say, "Yo, what was that?" But before he could even finish that sentence, 2 shots rang out. Jonathan's head snapped back.
I want no evidence. Body bags in this.
Right in front of him.
Only one way to leave out this
now,
bitch.
I know what you're thinking. Police did examine both men at the scene. They swabbed their hands for any gunshot residue to make sure that that whole story isn't bullshit. They were telling the truth. After checking the scene, they would determine it looked like he had been shot at a distance, and police would find 2 empty 12-gauge shells in the grass. If you look at a map, you can see Jonathan's house backed onto fields that would have been pitch dark that autumn night.
I just don't like them houses down south.
So who was Jonathan, and why would anybody want him dead?
Nigga, if a nigga just gets the
In this old video, folks, a sinister plan had horrifying consequences. And you know something else? Let me tell you this for free. Not getting your health checked can also have horrifying consequences. It has never been more important to get those regular checkups. You know, those little issues examined. It's all about giving you peace of mind. But guess what doesn't give me peace of mind? Actually organizing the check. I was on vacation and I got a bad sore throat, which actually turned out to be tonsillitis, but you know the drill. It'll go away by itself. It's no big deal. I'll give it another day or two before I call the doctor. It's a whole thing. Well, I shouldn't have, because putting off the doctor meant comic books. Jonathan was 33, originally from Rhode Island, growing up in Ohio, going to college in Pennsylvania, and he got his degree in business from Allegheny College. Jonathan was a bit of an artist. He loved to draw, he collected comic books, he played the Gitbox, but he was a real people person, you know, gregarious, loved hanging around with people, loved talking, loved dealing with people. So it was, you know, the restaurant industry that really called to him, and he found out sure wasn't the only hella good at it. He wanted to reinvent, you know, restaurants, bring people what they wanted, some good-ass grub in a nice setting, and he was like, sure, he was fairly successful at it. He helped develop some bars with great reputations, knew how to make a mean cocktail, and he ended up co-owning a number of restaurants in the area. A place called Char Bar, a place called Trinity Restaurant, a place called Pepper's Porch. A single guy in an area known for seafood, he was a bit of a catch. He had been living on Pinecrest Way of late, living with his roommate, who was an older fella who was actually, you know, his business partner. And this is a nice, quiet, residential neighborhood. I mean, as I went through Bluffton, this thing doesn't happen in Bluffton. Though people always say that, till it happens. But no known enemies. A guy just trying to help out the local businesses, give people good food, revitalize struggling businesses. A bonus, you know, to the community. So who would want him dead?
A usually quiet neighborhood is shaken up after a man is killed, and now police think he was targeted.
So it's pretty rare that we have violent crime. I know there's been some recent things that have happened that I think it's kind of a fluke. It's not something that normally happens around here. I mean, there's break-ins, there's things like that, but there's, you know, homicide is not usually on the scale.
Police canvassed the area, though the killer had long since fled. One thing, though, police noticed is that this is a wealthier area. There were a lot of cameras around, one even facing, almost, Jonathan's home. Now, he had been shot from the darkness of the field, but maybe someone had been scoping out the home, or had driven by. You never know. Jonathan's friend, who had been with him at the time, you know, the one he invited over and they were having a few drinks, he said Jonathan, he was in grand old form, not a bother on him, you know, nothing worrying him, nothing really stressing him out. Though he did say earlier that very day, a woman had kind of just like rocked up, knocked on his door, out of the blue.
He said something really weird happened or something like that. He said, Kim Murphy said he heard a knock or a doorbell rang. And we looked through the people and we saw a girl there. She said she had car trouble or something, so she pulled into his driveway.
Now, he knew her. She had been a regular at some of the bars he ran. He didn't mention her name, though, to his friend when he was retelling this story of what had just happened. He said, you know, she had randomly shown up, had car trouble, wink, wink, and was asking Jonathan for some help. Like, he was thinking, you know, is she going to whip out the sweater puppies or what?
Went out and looked at her car. Yes, everything's fine.
He says she tried to make out with him?
Yeah.
He described the girl to you at all?
He said it was like a girl about his age. I guess decent looking, that's all he said.
She was even trying to give John a little smoocheroonie. But John, to be fair, he saw that she was married, so he shot that shit down. But he said it was really, really strange that this woman just, you know, came up to his house, was flirting heavily with him, and John just wasn't having it. He didn't want to get involved with any married woman. Something weird was definitely going on with that interaction, but that was about the height of it. But she was a married woman, and John wasn't interested in it. Because, hear that from my invisible watch? That's a ticking time bomb. Did it go off that night?
we were talking about house murders, like someone's like trying to chase the house or someone trying to break in, or I don't know. Right.
Checking the neighborhood cameras, they did see a woman. They saw her and John talk outside, and John's dog at one point escaped and she helped bring it back. But police didn't know who she was, but they did see the car she left in, and it didn't seem like she had any car trouble at all. Watching the CCTV, the car had returned and driven past Jonathan's house shortly before the time of the murder. In fact, it had stopped at the end of the street and waited there for about 30 seconds before driving off, turning left, and disappearing. However, seconds later, there was a light. The car's brake lights had come on. Following the car, it had circled the neighborhood at that very time. However, it was raining that night, the license wasn't visible. All they could tell was that this suspicious woman was in a Toyota Camry. One thing identifiable about the Camry, the front right hubcap was different to the others. Small thing, but a thing. It was something. Now, if you'll remember, and I sure hope you do, at the time he was shot dead, Jonathan was on his phone. And not for fun. He'd been texting at the very moment he'd been shot in the head. Who was he texting? Could that be a clue? Was somebody texting him to make sure he was home at that very moment? Getting his records, they led to a friend, Josh, a chef at one of his restaurants, and police asked him to come in and speak with him. Did he know anything at all? He told the police everything he knew. Jonathan's friends, troubles, business partners, who he bought weed off. I mean, at this point in the investigation, there was a million different ways this investigation could go. There had been fallings out on the business front. People who had promised to invest didn't do so. There was a lot of money in this shit. Some of the businesses were not doing quite as splendid and spectacular as John and his co-owners were hoping. Josh thought that maybe John had gotten in over his head with his many businesses, his many investments.
I honestly think he got in over his head with somebody. As far as drugs, business, I think money-wise. Has he ever told you who he was in over his head with? No. He's mentioned that he couldn't talk. He's like, I can't tell you what I did. I was like, well, I can't help you unless you tell me. John did a lot. Well, tell us, like...
Did a lot. As in...
He did a lot of Xanax.
Maybe he had too many irons in the fire, and because of this, Josh mentioned that John was taking a lot of Xanax. Maybe he got involved with the wrong crowd. This led police to a Seth and Colette Collins, friends of John. Seth, a former landscaper, but an injury stopped that, and Colette, a waitress. Josh mentioned them as friends of Jonathan and maybe also involved with some other things. Now, police went to their home to go speak with the Collins, and as they drove down the dirt road leading to their home, they spotted a car outside the Collins home. A Camry. What are the odds? It was a Toyota Camry with one different hubcap. 3 of the hubcaps on the car had 6 holes, 1 had 7 holes. Now Seth, whose real name was Sam, by the way, it's like, if you're going to change your name, at least put some effort into it. He wasn't home, but his wife, Colette Collins, she was home, and she said, shit, I'll talk with you. She looked exactly like the woman who had been at Jonathan's house, trying to flirt with him.
You need anything? Water? I guess you got Pepsi or something, but...
Yeah, it's almost gone.
You got some bottled water or
Diet Coke?
Now her story, when asked, why did you stop by Jonathan's house earlier the day he was murdered, she said, sure, I was driving in the area. Sure, you know yourself, I was driving in the area and I thought to myself, how's Jonathan? May as well see how he's keeping. He's been having some troubles lately. I'll pop the head in.
How do you know him? I know him from Peppers. We used to go up there, we being my husband and I, and we would go to the back bar, and that's how we met John.
Remember what time you got there?
Maybe around 10-ish. Wait, 10:45? Did he know you were coming by? No, he did know. He
surprising.
I was on the way home and I was like, I'm passing his house. I'm just gonna stop by.
What all did y'all talk about?
We just talked about, his restaurant, his parents, what he plans on doing next.
After that, Colette said she, left his home. She then drove to a gas
Girls
station.
need
She
weed.
bought a little
What's
bottle
up?
of wine, and then she
What
began
up with it,
drinking the
guy?
bottle of wine, having herself a nice,
Man, it's
lovely
a-
little
it's
night
a-
of
it's
drunk
a-
driving.
a
Car wine,
murder
straight from the bottle.
story.
That's how the French do it,
They got
I
shot
know
in the head.
this is a bad call of judgment, but I did
While he was
open that
outside
wine.
texting.
My husband hasn't had a drink in over a year,
Blood on the phone.
as of September 1st, and he doesn't like for me. So I don't want to bring it around him. So I kind of rode around and drink on that bottle of wine.
After that, Colette said she blacked out. Would love to tell you, but my silly old brain doesn't know anything. Police let her go, called her husband Sam to come in, and Sam would take it easy, saying, "I'll be there when I'm there." He didn't speak to police until the following morning, having a good 12 hours to make sure his story was straight with the wife. I mean, of course not, just to make sure they're both telling the truth, but the same truth.
I'll let you know that you are not in custody, that you are free to leave anytime. Tuesday night, where were you? I was at home. Are you aware that she was over at his house the night he was murdered?
That was taking so long.
That nigga
She
bro.
did mention to me when she came home that she stopped by there. Did she normally stop by his house? That's what I asked her. Yeah. And she said no. You remember what time she came in that night? I think it was like 1:30 or so. She was drunk. Would you give us consent to search your house and your vehicle? No. You want to give us consent to search your house and vehicle? No, that's just... Okay. That was like invasion of my privacy.
Sam denied owning any firearms, especially definitely no, a 12-gauge shotgun, but refused to give police permission to search his home and vehicle. Now, at this point, the Collinses were clearly the primary suspects in this case. Their car had been seen in the area at the time of the murder. Colette just happened to pop in a couple of hours before the murder, and according to John, when he was telling his friend, she was acting peculiar. Definitely something weird going on here, but not enough to make a move on the couple. Not enough to get a search warrant, not enough to get an arrest. Funnily enough, though, it would be Sam who would give them what they needed to do those things. If you're a suspect in a murder case, or are at least being questioned in relation to a murder case, it might be, just putting this out there, this might sound outrageous, but it might be a good idea to just lay low. Keep your head down, nose out of trouble. One thing that wouldn't be ideal, for instance, is to, get blazed and then drive around town. Man, I wish I could tell Sam that 11 years ago. 4 days after the interview, on November 4th, Sam was pulled over at a traffic stop.
How are you, sir? I'm Austin Fayetteville Police Department. You have a driver's license, registration, and insurance, please. The reason I'm stopping you is for two reasons, partner. One, you're doing 40 in a 25 school zone, and the other is you don't have any taillights. The
school zone?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm 10-4. You ever heard of him before? Samuel Collins?
Sounds familiar.
And the stank of the dank was so bad, they pulled him out.
Mr. Collins, you shut your car for me real quick, bud? Yeah. Just hop on out with me real quick.
You try to like that boat, throw the smell off.
I'll explain to you when you step out of the car, okay? I knew I could smell weed.
Load the automatic seatbelt.
Searching him, they found A, weed, and B, a 12-gauge shotgun shell. Sam had been adamant he had no guns, didn't collect them at all.
I currently have no weapons or anything like that.
He just collected shotgun shells. They should have asked him about that.
Put this shotgun shell back in the car. 12. Didn't we just have a murder with a shotgun?
Yeah, we did. We recovered 2 casings, I believe, or something like that.
Now, this time, they didn't find a gun. They didn't find anything. Not physically, though. But if you have a shotgun shell, you can probably assume you got a shotty. One perhaps he used on Jonathan's dome. Police got a search warrant then. Searching Sam and Colette's home, they didn't find a gun. They didn't find anything. Not physically, though. As part of the search, they checked Sam's phone. Now, Sam had not wiped his phone, even remotely. So on his phone, they found a few little dirty little messages, you might say, to a friend. And the messages went a little something like this. Exactly like this. Put gun in back of truck. was gonna wrap it in that camo, gloves in there too. Had a late night ride, just between us. You haven't seen me, I haven't seen you. If you're gonna say something that's just between us, probably best not to leave evidence of things being just between us. That text was sent the night of the murder, about an hour after. Those messages were sent to a Cody Brown, who would confirm he had lent Sam a shotgun. He said Sam was scared for his life after an attempted robbery. That's why he gave it to him.
When he was scared for his life, he never borrowed that shotgun. It's okay, but it's, you know, it's my baby. Please don't let nothing happen to it.
However, the friend was very surprised to be getting the shotgun back in the middle of the night. It had even been raining that night, so he woke up, when he woke up to those messages, he was like, what the shit? And then, get this, he said when he, went to his truck, found that Sam had left the shotgun there, the shotgun was still loaded, it was still on fire, as in the safety was not on, the last shell used hadn't been ejected, even.
And then one night, I wake up the next morning and I had a message for so he put it in the back of my truck. And I was like, didn't it rain last night? And I was like, what the heck's he doing? I go back there and it's still loaded and the safety was off of it. So I'm like, what the hell? It had the spin around. It hadn't been ejected yet.
And of course, prints and DNA matched Sam Collins. They had the murder weapon, fingerprints, and likely footage of Colette waiting for and then collecting Sam after the murder. Sam was then charged with that murder.
What the fuck they do that for?
Why the wife go there early?
Colette was taken in. This time, we have everything. Do you want to tell a story? And she said, sure. She had a story to tell. Her story was like, yep. I stopped by Jonathan's that very day. Right. All of that part of the story is true. And after stopping by Jonathan's, she did go and get wine. But when she finally got home to Sam, Sam smelt the alcohol on her breath, knew she had just been with Jonathan, and so was not a fan of that, like at all. He was the jealous type and figured out something had happened. Now, nothing did happen. Thanks to Jonathan, not thanks to Colette.
I had never talked to John without Sam around. So he automatically thought something was up. And then he was like, well, let's go talk to John. I want to confront him about you. I didn't know any of this had happened until I saw it in the news. And I just knew, like, I didn't know what to do. I was scared.
Now, that was partly true. Sam did have it against John, but more than that. A few weeks earlier, Sam, a drug dealer, had been robbed. He believed that John had given up information to the robbers, had set him up. John had given these guys this info because he owed them a lot of money. They were another group of drug dealers, and John was into these Xanax a lot.
What the fuck?
At the same
Don't
time,
do drugs, y'all.
John knows something. So Seth is telling you that he thinks John knows something. About what? About the guys coming over. Okay. John was at his house, and he said he was being really weird. He was walking around sweating. I was like, dude, I gotta go. Like, he knew. So John was at the house before he got hit? Yeah. Really? Okay. So John disappears, next thing you know, his house gets hit. Yes. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to put two and two together and say, he probably had some kind of involvement. Well, Seth called me. Seth wasn't pissed at him. Seth was like, I just want to know who came to my house. Tell John I don't care about him.
Sam was indeed afraid for his life, and he believed John had something to do with that. Sam was also doing a lot of the, devil's dandruff, which is not, conducive to like rational thinking. Sam already had it against John, so now his wife is coming home stinking of alcohol, telling him she's just been with John. Sam was the very jealous type. He did not trust Colette because she had cheated on him before, multiple times before. So having it already against John for a robbery, and now believing his wife was having an affair with John, that was it. Again, according to John, nothing happened. In fact, from the CCTV, it seemed like they were standing outside his house the entire time. But, into Sam's mind, it was very, very different. And you don't know what Colette told Sam about what really happened. Maybe she wanted him. to go and do something. But regardless, Sam, driven by obsessive jealousy, got a gun, his friend's gun. Colette drove him there. Why Colette willingly drove him there and then didn't tell the police, and even after the murder did not seem to give a shit about John. Like in the interviews, she's very cool, calm, and collected. That part makes no sense at all. In 2017, Sam was convicted of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 50 years. Colette herself went on trial in 2018, Sam testifying against her. Man, he really fucking hated her. She was found guilty of accessory after the fact, and she got 15 years. Sam would later say he fired 2 shots at Jonathan's house, only meaning to scare him. Probably should have used a Halloween mask, because firing twice with a 12-gauge shotgun at 2 sitting people, not the best idea, I think. And there you have it. I mean, it is a weird story, and I don't believe Colette at all that what she really told Sam happened. Maybe she was lying to Sam. Maybe she was telling Sam they were having an affair. Maybe there really was an affair. I mean, what really happened that day between Colette and John when she called over? John told his friend she was like flirty with him, trying to chat him up, trying to do a little smoocheroonie. We don't know if that's true at all. Lord knows what they were talking about. Perhaps there was an affair. But regardless, John was shot in the head for seemingly no reason whatsoever. Sad way to end for him. Not for the Collinses though, they seem to be right where they belong. Pretty rad what happened to them, as both are pretty unrepentant about what they actually did to an innocent man just trying to make his community better. But you know, drugs and being a piece of shit will do that to you. Shanae.
Jonathan Cheryl. Nigga, you ain't shit.
No, he the nigga that died.
Oh, well, yeah, shout RP, my bad. What's the other nigga name? My bad. I work at the stuff, I'm killing niggas. Go ahead. I take it back.
That nigga.
I take it back. I take it back.
Oh, he said y'all watch the Billboard video. No, we ain't do that.
That's an hour video. You wanna do it?
Man, hey, Bird. An hour, Bird. Come on, bro. You gotta brief me, bro. What this about?
It's about, I think it's one about the niggas being coons.
He said nigga think I'm sending the hour or something. Alright. Bro, see what time it is, girl. Go on, cook on. He said mine already did. Nigga, I forgot. Damn, shit. Nigga, he ain't never talked twice before.
Shit, acting like niggas don't smoke.
Man, what for with me? Now, what you said it was?
This one.
Alright, come on, girl. Fuck it.
We here?
I ain't get no damn.
It's an hour and 2. Fuck. You doing a 3-hour chat.
How could you possibly love white people so much?
It's easy. Have you ever looked at them? White man just a joy to be around. They smell like lemon juice and pledge furniture cleaner. And look at them. They gave us discipline, jobs, put structure in our lives, took us out the jungle. And what we do to show our appreciation? We march up and down the street. We vote. Carry on
barking at the screen
in grace.
Look, I don't know if you heard, but racism is officially over. It only took 4 centuries of state violence, exploitation, and mass incarceration, but we finally did it. Look, just don't celebrate too loud now, alright? They'll call it ghetto and unruly. This channel became dedicated to black media analysis because of my obsession with black art and entertainment. And I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's because it's damn near impossible to separate racial politics from how we as black people interact with media. It doesn't matter what form it takes, be it music, film, dance, poetry, hell, even something as simple as streaming or podcasting. Every single expression of black media is shaped and contextualized by racial politics. Whether or not that was the creator's intention, and whether or not the audience even notices it on the surface. And I keep hammering this point in my videos because acknowledging that reality isn't just important, it's inescapable. These politics don't just shape our art, they shape us. They affect how we move, how we operate, how we present ourselves, and even how we succeed. And that success is never neutral. It's directly tied to the implicit roles you're boxed into as a black person in our media landscape. Even those roles aren't wide open. They come with boundaries, expectations, and a silent set of rules. You end up walking a really scary tightrope, one that forces you to balance your authenticity against white comfort. Lean too far into honesty and you're branded angry, radical, or ungrateful. Pull back too much and you're seen as safe, at the expense of hollowing yourself out to fit inside an acceptable comfort zone. So what do you do when you're in that position as a black person navigating these spaces? Do you play by the rules, sanding yourself down just enough to fit in? Or do you push back and risk being branded as too extreme? Well, there's always a third option. One that pays well, works every time, and never fails to get applause. That's right, kids, you can be a
That's some crazy ass shit.
No, but
Black
he
do
got
not
me
know
intrigued.
how to resolve
that
basic
big
conflicts.
dancing gorilla nigga.
Being a is an easy way to secure a bag. It's the oldest hustle in the book. Trade your people's dignity for a seat at the table, even if that seat is just for show. And in a media landscape where white comfort is currency, nothing pays better than telling racist white folks exactly what they want to hear and showing them exactly what they want to see.
I want to tell every single African American person that's watching this video, you are not oppressed. Do not believe the lie. You are not a victim. You are a victor.
And that's why it's important to be precise here, because it isn't just an insult we throw at another black person we don't like or disagree with. It has a very specific meaning. Is a black person who deliberately performs or promotes harmful stereotypes about their own community, not out of ignorance or passivity, but as a deliberate act to gain approval, protection, or profit from white audiences and institutions. It doesn't matter the decade or the time period. White institutions reward it, white audiences eat it up, and the system is built to amplify it. It's effective because it props up the same lies that keep racism alive, validating and entertaining racism while reassuring those in power that nothing really needs to change.
Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from every state, every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day for all of your children.
That's why it's so damn profitable. So long as racism exists, so will it. But that's what simultaneously makes it so dangerous. Because every time a tap dances and performs, it doesn't just reflect on them, it reflects on all of us. Their words and actions become ammunition, recycled as proof that racism is exaggerated or that black struggle is self-inflicted. And since so much of depends on white approval, it almost always gravitates towards conservatism. The politics most invested in pretending racism is over and inequality is just about personal responsibility.
You know that white supremacy and white nationalism ranks nowhere near the top of the issues that are facing Black America. And the reason that you are bringing them up in this room is because it is attempt to make the election all about race as the Democrats.
Not in my case. That's what makes a so valuable to white audiences. They get to see a black face echo their talking points back at them, wrapping white comfort in black credibility. The more that caricature circulates, the more it solidifies until it hardens into policy, into prejudice, and into everyday justifications for inequality. Isn't just self-destructive, it's collective collateral damage. The individual cashes the check, but the community pays the price. Be it minstrelsy or political pundits, we've always looked down on the folks who choose to perform like this, and for good reason. But what do? In a digital age where these bad faith actors aren't confined to a single stage, but endless screens, what can you even do? Wait, combat this? Like that? Why beat them when you can just join them? Being a is easier than ever before.
2018 in America. Does racism exist?
Absolutely not. And it has never existed.
Whoa!
No, it's
Wait, whoa, whoa!
It's a made-up
That was
word.
in the oven.
People jump so quick and they tense up at the thought of racial profiling. It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
Nigga,
What
look
is
out,
marketing?
list.
It's profiling.
I know he ain't got no
That's what
damn
marketing
list.
is.
With
It's
glasses.
White supremacy and
This is
the
damn
KKK.
time.
Really? That's what you
This
guys
big
want me to be
forehead,
concerned
bitch.
with this week? Do I look like an idiot?
Yeah.
As long as racism is profitable, there will always be a demand for some eager, happy-go-lucky Negro willing to sell it back with a smile. Playing into
King
negative
Badger,
racial
you
tropes is
doing
one of
that
the
shit too?
fastest ways to get paid. But that money doesn't come free. With it comes the cost of harming your own people, alienating yourself from your community, or worst of all, selling your own dignity. With that being said, whip out your tap dancing shoes and get ready to dive
Yeah,
in.
man,
And
he
together,
had his moments.
let's find out if all the
His
wealth,
feet.
fame, and
Not so much
influence
now, but
is worth the
his
price of
footprint is
self-respect.
crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Especially from the bond days.
Other folks
this
talk
hard
about
to
slave
erase. I mean,
meat.
this is
Wasn't
shit.
nothing wrong
That's
with
probably why
slave
he
bread.
made it
At least we
bigger.
got good food back then.
As usual, before we get started, let's establish something. I want to further clarify our definition of what makes it and why it's not always the same thing as a black person being conservative. As I'm sure there's some black conservatives out there just waiting to pounce on this video and cry with the whole independent thinker spiel. Being black and conservative doesn't by default make you a right there being a hell of a lot of overlap between the two. The difference lies in intent and performance. There's a lot of black folks that favor conservative politics out of ingrained survival. Centuries of this nation's history have taught us that black dissent, resistance, or even just demanding equity is often met with brutal repression in both violence and policy. For some, leaning into conservatism is less about selling out and more about seeking safety, stability, or trying to navigate a system that punishes resistance. Mind you, this logic is still extremely counterproductive and harmful. There isn't any reputable data that shows that conservative policies benefit black Americans economically or socially on any mass scale. It just denotes how some of it can still come from a place of good faith. But a deliberately performs or promotes harmful narratives about their own people, not because they believe it in good faith, but because it buys them approval, protection, or profit from white audiences and institutions. They're not just conservative, they're performers. They're actively putting on a show, embodying roles that serve oppressive systems while personally benefiting them.
No,
It
I don't
all
remember that
boils
video.
down to their intent and performance. It's deliberate, it's a show, it reinforces racist myths, and most importantly, it's transactional. The individual trades dignity and community for validation and reward. That's not survival. That's a spineless, shameless spectacle. A spectacle that, as we're about to see, has no universal form. To kick us off, we're gonna dive into the main archetypes that like to perform, exploring not just how and why they're so lucrative, but how they ultimately do nothing more than benefit white supremacy at the end of the day. Looking to cash in your dignity for a few coins and a milkshake? Want to make white folks laugh and hate you at the same time? Don't worry, I've got just the right pair of white gloves for you.
Enough is enough, and that's what I've had a abundance of.
I like this nigga.
Every has a role to play, a mask that makes them profitable and entertaining the white audiences. And while there are many variations, the two most consistent archetypes are the jester and the knight. Different masks, same purpose. Whether they clown or crusade, both archetypes ultimately serve the same role, and that's reassuring white audiences that racism is either laughable or non-existent. First, we have the jester, the oldest and most recognizable archetype of the entertainer who survives by making a spectacle of themselves, often at the expense of their own people. At its root, the jester is a performer who embodies and exaggerates racist caricatures so that white audiences can laugh, feel at ease, and avoid confronting the realities of black life. And this figure isn't new. It stretches back to the minstrel shows of the early 19th century, where white performers would don blackface and prance around the stage mocking blackness, painting it as ignorant, lazy, and buffoonish. You know, a real staple of American culture. White folks just couldn't get enough of this shit. I don't know, it was like the 19th century version of Friends. Around the 1830s, we get Thomas Daddy Rice, who popularizes his character Jim Crow. a shuffling, grinning, broken English caricature of a rural black man. A caricature Rice himself loosely based on a disabled slave he had once seen. The caricature would soon become a symbol for black inferiority, so powerful and popular that the name itself would later be used to brand an entire system of segregation. But alongside Jim Crow, you also had Zip Coon, only this one was based on a city living dandy. While Jim Crow was a lazy, sloppy buffoon, Zip Coon was a ridiculous fraud. He was overdressed, misused big words, and worst of all, thought of himself as equal to white people. The joke was that no matter how hard he tried, he could never rise above his place. These two became the blueprint of the jester. You now have a role where a black figure exists only to reassure white audiences that blackness is inherently laughable, inferior, and unserious. From the very beginning, the jester wasn't just about entertainment, it was about control. Eventually, black performers themselves are pushed into these roles, forced to mock their own people just to gain access to stages otherwise closed to them. The costume changes with the decades, but the script remains the same. You see the jester morph into Hollywood, on the big screen with Stephen Fetchit and Willie Best.
What's your name?
There's something to worry about if you white. What you mean? They won't hurt us because we slaves. They is fighting for us. But if you's white and southern, then you's the enemy. Oh, don't pay him no mind. Come on, children, get in there and hide.
On radio with Amos and Andy, and even in variety shows with Rochester Anderson.
Kingfish, you mean to say that you is an actual doctor? Well, I ain't been blabbing it around, but I've been taking a correspondence course in doctoring.
He's the funny black friend, the clownish entertainer, the loudmouth comic relief who eases racial tension with jokes and dance moves. Different eras, different packaging, but the function never changes. Blackness was safe only when it was a punchline. Black people are tolerated as long as they keep the jokes coming and never demand too much seriousness. Today, the jester thrives in the digital era. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, entire careers are built around parroting black culture for white clicks. Sometimes he leans into exaggerated AAVE or quote-unquote hood stereotypes for laughs. Other times he positions himself as the safe black person who it's okay to make racist jokes around. You want an N-word pass? Don't worry, he'll give you one.
The league, what is he about to do? He got a best league off all the... Yo, come on, boy. Bo Ray, don't give a fuck. Damn. Shit. Nigga, please.
He might even make fun of real issues such as police brutality or systemic inequality, as if centuries of oppression, violence, and pain are nothing more than material for a punchline. It's how we get King Batch making an entire career off of chicken, watermelon, and crime jokes.
For a bottle of lotion a day, you can help these ashy African-American children. Please call now.
I made it out the hood, baby!
For the next 12 hours, all crime is legal.
It's how you get iShow Speed barking like an animal while also letting his non-black fans call him and make racial jokes at his expense.
What's this? It's a cotton. Look. Cotton? I never got gifted cotton. You got nothing else? Why did you give me cotton? Yeah. W give, chat.
Open that shit. You gonna love it. You gonna love it. You gonna love it.
Okay,
You gonna love it. You gonna love it. You gonna love it.
Wait,
You gonna love it. Come here, motherfucker. Master, I'm tired of picking cotton. Please give me another job.
That's how you get all these tomfoolery ass niggas on TikTok eating food in a messy manner while dancing like chimpanzees.
I think I despise the other nigga most. The other nigga that he talking about. I ain't just nigga, but the other nigga, he really like,
Hell, this nigga is literally calling himself the Groovin' Gorilla. You cannot get any more on the nose than this. It doesn't matter the variant or the medium. In every form, the jester's job is to turn blackness into a spectacle. He makes racism easier to consume because it's coated in laughter. And that is why he works. The jester works because he makes racism feel good. He doesn't challenge the audience, he comforts them. Instead of forcing white American audiences to face the ugly reality of racism and systemic inequality, the jester flips those realities into comedy. Pain becomes parody, suffering becomes slapstick. The cruelty of anti-blackness is softened, wrapped in laughter, and handed back as entertainment. The audience can consume stereotypes without guilt because, at the end of the day, it's all just a joke. But just a joke is exactly what makes it powerful. Laughter disarms. When racism comes dressed as comedy, it doesn't feel like hate, it feels like permission. You're not laughing at black people, you're laughing with them. You get a pass. Hell, after all, the black guy telling you the joke wants you to laugh. White audiences can laugh at caricatures of blackness without guilt because humor provides cover. And that thin veil of irony makes the jester effective, turning mockery into entertainment and entertainment into normalization. But the jester is only one side of the coin. We then have the knight. While one is an entertainer, the other is an enforcer. Unlike the jester, the knight doesn't play for laugh, instead aligning themselves with whiteness and defending the very systems that harm their own people. They're the moral enforcer, preaching discipline, respectability, and obedience. If the jester reassures white audiences that blackness is laughable, the knight reassures them that the real problem isn't racism, it's other black people and their culture. Just as minstrelsy created the blueprint for the jester, the knight was born from slavery itself. On the plantation, you had slaves that were elevated above others, not out of kindness or merit, but as a tool of control, being rewarded with scraps of comfort for loyalty and used to police other enslaved people. You begin to see the earliest form of the knight, a black figure whose very survival depended on protecting the master's interests. After emancipation, this role transforms. White elites paraded formerly enslaved people who praised their masters as benevolent, framing bondage as a civilizing institution. For example, pro-slavery writers like John B. Gordon and James Henry Hammond eagerly published quote-unquote testimonies from freedmen claiming slavery had been a blessing. You also had figures of black colonization movements like John B. Russwurm and William Hannibal Thomas, who assured whites that black freedom meant separation, not equality. And on the more extreme end, you had physicians like Samuel A. Cartwright, who promoted pseudoscience like drapetomania, the idea that a slave wanting to be free is a form of mental illness. He relied on black collaborators to validate his false claims about black laziness and inferiority. Those early versions of the knights were nothing more than useful prompts. They told white audiences exactly what they wanted to hear, that racial hierarchy was natural, just, and even divinely ordained. By the time we get to the 20th century, the knight evolves into the voice of respectability politics. You see it in figures like Bill Cosby and Shelby Steele, who, while groundbreaking in some ways, also doubled as the poster child for middle-class assimilation, embodying the idea that accepting black humanity depended on proper dress, diction, and morality. In politics, you get Clarence Thomas and Thomas Sowell, two uncles whose influence came not from serving black communities, but from reassuring white conservatives. Thomas used the Supreme Court to gut civil rights protections under the guise of colorblindness, while Sowell built a career downplaying racism and blaming inequality on black culture and behavior. And in popular media, you often see the knight as a direct foil to the jester, the serious preacher, the disciplinarian father figure, the bootstrap philosopher who scolds poor black people while ignoring the systemic barriers stacked against them. Today, the knight thrives as a commentator. He's the black conservative pundit on Fox News, PragerU, and the Daily Wire. He assures white America that police brutality is blown out of proportion, that systemic racism isn't real, and that black people are simply victims of their own bad choices.
Stop resisting arrest. I don't know how many times we got to say that. I don't know why people aren't getting it. We shouldn't even be having conversations about police. There's no such thing as police reform and any of these things. If you people, black people, white people, I don't care who you are, mostly it's black folks. Why are we going to reform the police department just to end up shooting you again because you are resisting arrest, trying to run police officers over with cars? I don't know if do y'all think bullets cannot hurt you?
Is there a big problem with police brutality and black people? No, there's not. Not from my point of view.
He's the YouTube grifter lecturing about quote-unquote black fatigue and how ghetto blacks are going to get us all killed.
These black people are really struggling, and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel.
I mean, I don't think he said anything racist. He didn't denigrate. He said
This is why people feel
He
that
just
way
described
based on
the
what
other
he
race of
thinks.
people. He did not describe. He described just not black people.
I mean, he
I
just
think there is a
said-
big difference. I think that I've met a lot of black people and I've met a lot of niggas.
He's even the LinkedIn-style black excellence influencer preaching that systemic racism can be conquered with enough hustle and positivity. Doesn't matter what he wears, it can be a suit or a hoodie. The performance is the same. The Knight positions himself as proof that black success is possible if you just follow the rules, and if you don't, well, that's your fault. His job isn't to liberate his people, it's to discipline them on behalf of the system. The Knight works because he cloaks anti-blackness in dignity. Where the Jester weaponizes laughter, the Knight weaponizes morality. He doesn't need to make white audiences laugh, he makes them feel righteous. By wagging his finger at black communities, he reassures white America that inequality isn't structural, it's personal. Racism doesn't have to be confronted because the Knight insists the real problem is us. And that's the trick. He allows racism to hide in plain sight. If the Jester tells white audiences, you're not racist, it's just a joke, then the Knight tells them, you're not racist.
That Kevin Hart shit.
You're right. Every inequality becomes a morality tale. Prisons are full not because of over-policing, but because black men lack quote-unquote values. Schools fail not because of gutted funding, but because black parents don't care enough. Poverty isn't the product of wage theft or housing discrimination, it's just laziness. The Knight takes systemic violence and translates it into individual failings, making oppression look earned and deserved. Now, these two types of may seem like polar opposites, but both the Jester and the Knight serve the same court. They divide the work of maintaining the racial order. The Jester turns injustice into entertainment, making it easier to laugh at than confront. The Knight takes the same injustice and recasts it as a moral failing, assuring audiences that inequality is the product of bad choices, not bad systems. Together, they work in tandem, softening the blow and then justifying it. One minute you laugh, next minute you're nodding your head in agreement. And this duality survives because it's profitable and useful. Media platforms, corporations, and political institutions reward content that either entertains without threatening power or dignifies inequality as discipline. That's why the Jester thrives in viral clips and comedy routines, while the Knight is elevated in op-eds, think tanks, and news commentary. Both are monetized, both are incentivized, and both are rewarded precisely because they stabilize the racial order rather than challenge it. The impact is real. That distortion of public perception shapes policy. When the Jester normalizes brutality and the Knight reframes systemic barriers as personal failings, the result is paralysis. No need to reform and no appetite for justice. In practice, this translates into underfunded schools, harsher policing, and the erosion of civil rights, all justified by the story that black suffering is either laughable or deserved. In the end, it's just like we said earlier, two sides of the same coin. One makes oppression palatable, the other makes it principled. Neither disrupt the system. And until the structures that reward these performances are dismantled, both will keep tap dancing to the bank. But identifying only take you so far. Let's say you see the harm, damage, and destruction this causes, and none of that phases you. In fact, you see how lucrative it is and want to make some money off of it. Well, you morally bankrupt motherfucker, I have just the news for you. This next section is going to teach you exactly how to sell your soul. I'm going to teach you step by step how to cook. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the only channel brave enough to talk about real issues in the black community. Today we're gonna react to More Sexy Red. Now, I know we've talked about her in 14 different videos already, but the views, oh baby, the views let me know you guys haven't had enough.
If Massa catch me out here, I'ma get in trouble. I'ma teach you how to be one of the good ones. That way you get to sleep in a big house like me.
Earlier we detailed how to spot a how they take many different forms and ultimately what their purpose is in regards to white supremacy. However, in this section we're gonna teach you how to, specifically how to be a knight, essentially what tactics they use and how they lure in moderate and more conservative leaning black folks. The reason why we're focusing more on the knight is because it's the more lucrative and harder to spot out of the two. See, the jester is obvious. He's loud, he's clownish, and 9 times out of 10 you can spot him shucking and jiving a mile away. But the knight? He carefully cloaks his rhetoric behind dignity, posture, and quote-unquote common sense. He disguises himself as someone trying to help black people get their act together, when in reality, he's just there to play on already pre-existing tropes. And that invisibility is what makes him just as dangerous as he is lucrative. So consider this your field manual, a little how-to guide for becoming the most lucrative form of coon, the bootlicker, the sellout, the uncle, the knight. We'll break down the 3 main steps of performance, the tricks that make it effective, and most importantly, the damage it causes. Because this hustle may help you get in the big house, but it comes at the expense of all of us still stuck in the field. First, we have step 1, gaining your audience. And you do so by playing into respectability politics. You need a socially conservative audience of people, folks that are quote-unquote fed up with the current state of black culture. They can be black conservatives, they can be black moderates with traditional values, hell, they can even be church folks. They just have to believe that the biggest barrier to black liberation is black culture. Your job is to feed their frustration by antagonizing the culture itself. Remove any sort of nuance from your argument. You need to frame hip-hop not as an art form, but as the cause of community destruction. That crime exists because of rap lyrics, not because of poverty or over-policing. You shame clubbing, twerking, block parties, even marching bands as undignified spectacles. Reduce them to proof that black people quote-unquote don't know how to act. You police language, paint AAVE as defective English rather than a legitimate dialect with history and grammar. You weaponize faith. This is the big one right here. Use scripture to shame black folks who don't fit into narrow molds of chastity or family structure. You police gender roles. The left wants to turn black men gay and trans. The left doesn't want women to be ladylike anymore. What you're deliberately doing is conflating self-respect with respectability politics. They are not the same thing. Conservatism has done such a good job of blurring the line between self-respect and respectability politics that most folks don't even know the definition of the term. Having manners is not respectability politics. Carrying yourself with dignity and humility as well as showing respect to those in your community is not respectability politics. Black people have always held ourselves and each other with discipline, integrity, and pride despite centuries of systemic abuse. These are core values of respect found within almost every human culture and not specific to any race or ethnicity. Respectability politics hijacks that concept of respect and weaponizes it. It argues that if marginalized groups did a better job of adhering to the cultural norms of those in power, then they'd be treated with dignity and gain social acceptance. If black people just got their act together, if we all spoke well enough, if we all dressed well enough, if we all tried to be like the quote-unquote good ones, then we'd finally be worthy of being treated like human beings. It reframes manners, discipline, and humility not as basic practices for personal and community strength, but as a checklist for conditional acceptance into white society. You end up with a way for black people to blame themselves for their own oppression. What we need is a complete cultural reset. No more thug culture, but a nice, clean, pure culture. One that our freedmen ancestors would have wanted. If we don't give them a reason to be racist, then they won't be racist. The sad part is, those that adhere to respectability politics never ended up seeing how futile it is. You can dress the part, speak the part, and live your whole life trying to be the quote-unquote good one, but no matter how carefully you perform, it doesn't grant immunity from racism. History has shown us again and again, educated black people, wealthy black people, church-going black people, hell, even literal children, all have faced the same violence, the same exclusion, the same suspicion, the same hatred, regardless of how well behaved they are. MLK and Malcolm X were literally murdered in suits. It didn't save them. It didn't save the residents of Tulsa. It didn't save Amantic Bradford Jr. It didn't save Philando Castile. It didn't save Elijah McClain. It didn't save Atiana Jefferson. It didn't save Botham Jean. It didn't save Henry Louis Gates Jr. It didn't save Christian Cooper. It didn't save Tamir Rice. It didn't save Sandra Bland. It didn't save Patrick Lyoya. It didn't save Jamel L. Robertson. It didn't save John Crawford III. It didn't save Ralph Yarl. It didn't save Keith Lamont Scott. It didn't save Corey Jones. It didn't save the Charleston 9. It didn't save the Buffalo 13. It didn't save Ayanna Stanley Jones. It didn't save Sean Bell. Every one of these people dressed quote-unquote properly, quote-unquote spoke properly, worked hard, followed rules, complied with police, achieved higher education, avoided quote-unquote street culture, lived and operated exactly how respectability politics demands black people to. They all quote-unquote had their act together. And yet we're still surveilled, demonized, displaced, beaten, arrested, murdered, ignored, or destroyed. It's a permanent shifting of the goalpost. Respectability politics doesn't shield us. It simply shifts blame back onto the community when the oppression persists. But because respectability politics has been conflated with self-respect so well, you got niggas willing to go to war to defend it without even knowing the real definition. So you're just telling me we should let these folks act like buffoons? We should just let this degeneracy exist? You can't tell me it doesn't make us all look bad, not realizing that this logic right here is the problem. Nobody here is arguing against discipline, integrity, or accountability within our communities, or holding members accountable when they disrespect others. There's countless times where we've called out disrespectful, degenerate shit, especially when it disrespects our ancestors. What we're rejecting is the idea that black culture is the reason why racism exists. That logic is ass backwards. White supremacy didn't appear because black folks quote unquote didn't know how to act right, and it damn sure isn't disappearing if we all magically did. And let's be clear, every community has its degeneracy, especially white folks. Wall Street executives snorting coke, country music festivals, NASCAR, white frat parties, spring breakers, rodeos, Fred Durst, motorcycle rallies, January 6th, Eagles fans. But no one ever says those guys represent all white people, or that white respectability depends on silencing those behaviors. Only black folks are told that a few people's buffoonery condemns the whole race. That's not moral concern. That's anti-blackness.
No, literally, though.
When you make the argument that we're the real black people, not those niggas, it doesn't shield you from racism, nor does it help the community. All it does is affirm a racist fantasy where they are the standard, and we are the ones that must constantly perform to disprove inferiority. And even inside that fantasy, you're not treated as an individual. You're just the designated responsible black. The one white people think should help manage and discipline the quote-unquote ghetto inner city blacks they've already decided are beyond saving. It doesn't grant you respect. It just assigns you a different role in the same racist hierarchy. You not liking Sexy Red is one thing. You thinking she's tacky or trashy or vulgar, cool, that's fine. You have every right not to like her. But the minute you start blaming folks like Sexy Red as the reason why we can't get ahead, that's some shit.
That's crazy. They put it all on one
See?
person.
This is what's destroying our people. Not crime bills, not redlining, not mass incarceration. Balloons and booty shorts. But here's the wildest and most disturbing irony. The people who cling to respectability politics know the double standard exists. They know black people are forced to quote-unquote perform good behaviors so one person's mistakes doesn't condemn the entire race. They know we get collective punishment while white people get treated as individuals. They'll even tell you plainly, look, that's just the way it is. But instead of questioning the system that makes that logic possible, instead of asking why black humanity is treated as conditional in the first place, why over 47 million people have to be collectively judged by the actions of a few, they turn the burden back on the community. They disguise it as accountability. They defend the double standard. They try to enforce it. They blame black people for the weight of that racist expectation. And that's the trap. The moment you accept the idea that the entire race lives or dies based on the behavior of the loudest, most foolish, ignorant among us, you've already agreed to an anti-black worldview. You're no longer challenging racism, you're helping enforce its rules. Respectability politics doesn't fight the system, it just tries to bargain with it. It tells us the world is anti-black, so let's contort ourselves into whatever shape offends whiteness the least, even though that shape has never protected a single black life. If we don't give them a reason to be racist, then they won't be racist. Step 1 is simple. Play into respectability politics using your platform to police other black people. You become the mouthpiece for white supremacy, repackaging its talking points in a quote-unquote community concern rapper. Instead of challenging the system that dehumanizes us, you redirect the blame onto your own people, saying the problem isn't centuries of racism ingrained into policy and thought, it's how we carry ourselves. Regurgitate this junk, and the audience will come to you. However, that leaves us with step 2, preaching the gospel of personal responsibility. Once you've secured your socially conservative audience, the next move is to hammer home the idea that every problem black people face is a result of personal failure. Forget redlining, forget mass incarceration, housing, and medical discrimination. None of that exists in this framework. Instead, it's always about laziness, bad choices, and moral weakness. You know, personal responsibility. If step 1 was about performance, telling black folks to dress right, talk right, and act right to earn dignity, then step 2 is about internalizing failure when that performance doesn't magically end oppression. It goes from, if we act right, they'll treat us right, to, if things still don't get better after we act right, then we just didn't work hard enough. Your job is to use your platform to redirect every conversation about systemic barriers back to individual shortcomings. Use all the conservative talking points. If someone mentions housing discrimination, you pivot to, why don't they just save up to buy a house? If the cops shoot an unarmed kid in the back, you ask, well, why was he running away? Why didn't he just comply? Crime, fatherless homes. Poverty, bad financial choices. You should have gotten to crypto. Every structural critique becomes a sermon about discipline and morals. That's why step 2 is so important for the grift. It doesn't just shift the blame, it keeps it shifted. It traps your audience in a loop where systemic oppression is never real, but personal failure always is. It's the perfect conservative alibi. If black people fail, then it's our fault. But if we succeed, then it's despite ourselves. Look, I don't want to hear about racism or history or systemic barriers. That's a victim mentality.
It's time to stop blaming everyone else but ourselves for our lives and our actions. I damn sure can't help what someone does to me, but I control 110% of how I move forward. White man this, racism that, enough. I promise you, the second you start focusing on yourself, your goals, your dreams, tunnel vision, and move forward, the faster life will progress for you and the happier you will become.
This is where you perfect the art of anecdote over evidence. I grew up poor and made it, so why can't they? Despite data and evidence showing that all the systemic barriers still remain, black home ownership has barely moved in decades, despite wages increasing. Exclusionary zoning and land use laws still gatekeep black access, and black people still hold a disproportionately tiny share of institutional wealth and ownership across all industries. Don't worry though, a good chunk of your audience isn't really looking for stats or proof to begin with. You elevate bootstrap fairy tales as proof that inequality isn't structural, it's cultural. The genius of this step is that it reframes oppression as self-inflicted, absolving institutions of any sort of responsibility. It tells your audience that racism isn't systemic, it's just a glitch in black communities. And that's exactly the damage these talking points cause. It takes centuries of structural sabotage, predatory policing, discriminatory lending, underfunded schools, and reduces it to a matter of willpower. For black communities, you're hit with a double burden, literally. In 1903, black American sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois proposed the idea of double consciousness. As a black person, you're forced to navigate the world twice over, once through your own lived reality, and once through the gaze of a society that pathologizes your very existence. Respectability politics and the gospel of personal responsibility sharpen that double vision into a wound. Not only do you have to survive the realities of discrimination, but you're also told it's your own fault when those barriers stop you from advancing. The effect is absolutely disgusting. It erases history, isolates individuals, and weaponizes shame as a political tool. Worse, it gives the institutions a free pass. If poverty is reduced to just quote-unquote bad choices, then governments, banks, schools, and corporations never have to answer for the systemic violence they enact. But that's your role as a bootlicker, as a knight, as a... It's your job to ensure that these talking points never stay isolated in white conservative spaces, but circulate back into black communities as quote-unquote common sense. You become the courier of white supremacy dressed up in the language of tough love. Your platform becomes less about empowerment and more about enforcement, making sure that whenever structural critique arises, it gets drowned out by lectures on hustle, morality, and self-discipline. In this way, you don't just echo the system, you fortify it. We now move on to the third and final step, the one that everyone wants: platforming outrage and cashing out. Once you've amassed an audience of conservatives and gained their attention, you have to keep them hooked, and that's by feeding them non-stop outrage. Your digital platform becomes a stage show. Every tweet, reaction video, commentary, or Fox News appearance is designed to mock, scold, or call out black communities in ways that your audience finds entertaining and engaging. Police shoot another unarmed black kid? That's not tragedy, that's content. New rap song goes viral? Hell, you found some body cam footage or some random TikTok? That's your chance to rant about quote-unquote degeneracy and quote-unquote fatherless homes. You don't even need to believe it. The outrage machine doesn't care. All it requires is consistency. Social media isn't neutral. It's designed to amplify the loudest, most polarizing takes because outrage keeps people scrolling. Anger is addictive, and every platform has figured out that controversy is the most reliable fuel for engagement. The more rage you induce, the more visibility you get. The more visibility you get, the more your audience grows. And the bigger your audience, the bigger your paycheck. But the danger of this sensationalist slop is that it doesn't just stay online. It seeps into how entire communities are perceived. When algorithms reward these hollow, solutionless critiques of quote-unquote ghetto culture, broken families, or violent youth, those images become the shorthand for blackness in the wider public imagination. Politicians cite them to justify harsher policing. Employers use them as excuses not to hire. Teachers absorb them as biases against their own students. And worst of all, they drown out the real diversity, complexity, and humanity of black life. The spectacle of outrage becomes the dominant story, a loop of shame and scolding that reduces millions of people to the worst stereotypes for clicks and profits. What looks like content is actually cultural warfare, and every time it goes viral, it tightens the grip of white supremacy under the guise of quote-unquote honest critique. But at the end of the day, that's the whole point of a clip. If they see a black voice saying these things, it doesn't just confirm their biases, it sanctifies it. Suddenly, racist talking points don't look racist anymore. They look like truth because they're being delivered by someone who looks like the people being attacked. This is why media platforms love trotting these figures out. A Fox News panel on crime doesn't hit the same without a black commentator ready to scold their own community. A conservative op-ed about culture carries more weight when it's being penned by someone black. Even liberal outlets will platform these voices under the guise of quote-unquote balance, letting their audience consume stereotypes without guilt. The cycle is complete. Your outrage content feeds algorithms grow your audience makes you marketable to media outlets, and those outlets recycle your rhetoric into policy debates. In the end, your face becomes the mask white supremacy wears when it wants to speak with a black voice. However, if you've already made it this far to step 3, none of that should matter to you. You've already won. It's now time to cash out and enjoy the fruits of your labor. You've built a brand, secured media appearances, signed book deals, maybe even landed a podcast or a think tank fellowship. The damage to your community is irrelevant because the incentives don't reward care, they reward consistency. So what? Other black folks might call you a who cares? You got paid at the end of the day. They didn't. You put in the work to get to where you are, and that work definitely paid off. You made a career deliberately spreading harmful, inaccurate narratives about your own people for the sake of white approval and dollars, and did a damn good job of it. But there's still one unresolved question, one that we asked at the very beginning of this video. Was any of this worth it? Was the platform, the paycheck, the fleeting applause of an audience that never truly wanted you worth the price of your self-respect? Because here's the truth, a seat at the table is never guaranteed. And even if you do manage to secure one, don't fool yourself, you're not getting served. You're the entertainment, you're the prop, you're the proof they point to so they don't have to change. That's the real cost of and it's a bill that always comes due. But let's actually explore this. What happens to when Massa no longer needs them to serve them? Do we welcome them back with open arms after spending their entire career spreading harm? Even better, what about the rest of us? Or not, how do we navigate the trap of needing to play into white sensibilities without ending up like these clowns? Enough tap dancing. Time to take the shoes off.
Oh no, this can't be. It says I'm 102% African with a 2% margin of error. Why, Lord? Why, Lord? Why?
Son, I just want to say that was an amazing speech you gave. You truly are a credit to your people.
Thank you, sir. Let's get one thing straight before we go any further. You will never get a seat at the table. Not a real one. You might get invited to stand near it, maybe even handed a plate if you're lucky, but you'll never be allowed to sit down and eat without permission. That's not how this system works. It doesn't integrate you into power, it accessorizes you. You're not there to change it. You're there to make it look changed. You're the token black used to paint the illusion of equity. Black lips used to tell white lies. Truth is, tokens get spent every single time. They parade you around until your usefulness runs out. Then they toss you aside like a campaign slogan that's gone stale. The minute your image stops being profitable, the minute your words stop aligning with their script, the second you start believing you actually earned your place instead of being placed there, that's when the mask slips and you realize you never were at the table. You were the tablecloth protecting the diners. We've seen this time and time again what happens when a bootlicker fails to shine Massa's shoes well enough, or when he finds some other happy-to-be-here Negro who can do it better. We saw this with black MAGA politicians and allies who were eager to support Trump during his campaign, only to be ditched and discarded when he won. Figures like Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and Mark Robinson all tried to curry favor with Trump, but they weren't selected for high-profile cabinet positions. Their loyalty didn't translate into lasting political power. The same can be said with all of these conservative commentators on YouTube and TikTok. Social media personalities like Officer Tatum and Rob Smith were willing to get on all fours to defend and worship white conservatives and their policies, but that worship never saved them from hate crimes.
As a Christian who went to Israel, I spent 2 weeks there with the church, and we had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors, and immediately after, there was an adult that came by and said, "That's not a representation of who we are. You know, we love you guys. You guys are always welcome here." And I have to say, no adults gave us any grief. We had no issues whatsoever in our experience there. It was actually an amazing experience.
This spineless Negro literally gets spat on, and his first instinct is to thank them for only spitting on him once. Rob had to find out the hard way that folks who dislike both the black and LGBTQ communities might have a problem with him being a black gay Republican.
I was in Phoenix, Arizona for an event called America Fest, which is held by Turning Point USA. I went to this event because I saw that a lot of other conservative influencers would be there. And I had no idea that it was going to be infested with these people.
I had no idea the leopards would eat my face. Imagine spending years kissing ass just to get hate crimed at a rally. And then there's the queen of conservative tokenism herself, Candace Owens. For years, she served as the Daily Wire's black mouthpiece, their go-to for packaging bigotry as quote-unquote common sense. As long as she stuck to the script, she was golden. But the minute she went off script, the minute she called out the Israeli state for committing a genocide, she too saw how much a spent token was really worth: unemployment. Her usefulness expired and lost her job at the Daily Wire. Their black mouthpiece no longer was singing the right notes. Crazy part is, she didn't even learn her lesson. A few weeks ago, she gave a heartfelt tribute to her dear friend Charlie Kirk. I genuinely believe she was one of the closest friends and colleagues that this hateful piece of shit had, which makes it even funnier when she didn't get invited to speak at his memorial. But you know what she did get used for? To prove that he wasn't racist because he had black friends. And don't think you can just rebrand and get welcomed back in with open arms by the very community you spent years disrespecting. It's not that easy. And before any of you start caterwauling, I thought you were supposed to be pro-black. Yes, that doesn't apply to independent thinkers. So much for the tolerant left. Let's get one thing straight, Mr. Independent Thinker. No community is obligated to embrace you after you built an entire career profiting off of lies that made their lives harder. You had no problem demonizing struggling families, mocking victims of police violence, or gaslighting your own people on national TV. You weren't thinking independently, you were selling your integrity for engagement. And now when the checks stop coming in and your handlers move on, you want grace from the same folks you told to pull themselves up by their bootstraps? Hell no. That's called consequences. What you need to do is work harder and take some personal accountability, then maybe we'll let you back in. But what if you're not that far gone? What if you're not some morally bankrupt opportunist, and instead just a regular person with some conservative leanings? This is for the black moderates, the socially conservative black folks, the churchgoers, the we just need to do better crowd. The ones who might not be but are standing close enough to this rhetoric to sometimes fall for it when it's dressed up in pretty words. I get it, you want order, stability, and safety in our communities. We all do. You're tired of the chaos, the economic instability, the communal violence that at times can feel inescapable, the constant feeling like we're fighting uphill battles that never end. But I need you to understand, conservatism has never been the answer. It has never, in almost the 300 years of this nation's existence, once improved the material conditions of black people. Not once. Not during abolition, not during Reconstruction, not during Jim Crow, not during the war on drugs. Not now. There is no empirical data, no policy, no administration, no economic period where black conservatism resulted in measurable liberation. It doesn't happen because it's not designed to happen. Conservatism's entire function is to preserve existing hierarchies, not dismantle them. Regardless of how much you try to modify your behavior or existence, them being in charge will always result in you being in a subservient role. It doesn't matter how much money you achieve, status you obtain, or how well behaved you are. The thing that you are conserving are the things that keep them in power. So, let me ask again, what exactly is it you're trying to conserve? It can't be the black family, as it was conservative policies that tore black families apart. The same legislation that escalated surveillance, criminalized poverty, and funneled black men into prisons at historic rates. It was conservative welfare reforms that punished single mothers, cut public assistance, and destabilized entire households under the guise of responsibility. It can't be economically, as those agendas have continuously widened racial wealth gaps and stripped wealth from black communities at every turn. And it damn sure ain't socially conservative. Black people have been the most socially progressive demographic for the past 80 years. We've been at the cornerstone of every social and civil rights movement, despite a large portion of us being deeply entrenched in traditional views of religion and Christianity. We've never been conservative. Not fiscally, not socially, never. Rejecting conservatism is the key to advancing our community, and this doesn't mean you have to be a liberal or a Democrat. In fact, far from it. Let's be clear, I do not like the Democratic Party. Both sides of the establishment are just two sides of the same coin. They give the illusion of choice. Everything we've attributed to these tap-dancing, self-hating black conservatives can just as easily be applied to a lot of these black liberals. Democrats might tokenize you with symbolism and dangle progress over your head like a carrot on a stick, while Republicans just do it with more open contempt. Both serve the same capitalist system that keeps you tired, underpaid, over-surveilled, and underrepresented, using you as electoral props only to discard you in favor of lobbyists and donors. Neither one of these are on your side, but we need to get rid of this foolish mentality that just because the Democratic Party continues to fail us time and time again, that we all need to suddenly become conservatives. That's like disarming one bomb, then immediately strapping 10 more to your chest. Instead of doing the bare minimum of searching for an electoral candidate to magically solve all our problems every 4 years, we collectively as Black Americans need to reject blind loyalty to the two-party system and start to invest in direct action. Usually on every video, I have people who try to leave these gotcha comments. Actually, Pillboy, you missed something. You forgot to explain this. Only for me to address and explain it later in the video. They don't want to sit and watch the entire video before getting their rocks off in the comments, which is usually why I get bullshit comments like, no solutions? So you're just complaining but providing no solutions? Well, this is for you. The only way to meaningfully improve the lives of Black Americans is by changing the system shaping our lives, that being capitalism. The same system that depends on inequality and scarcity to function. The quote-unquote cultural problems that people like to blame, behavior, choices, norms, are just reflections of larger structural forces, and every time you interrupt them, when resources are decommodified, when communities gain ownership, when public services are fully funded, these so-called cultural problems disappear right along with the conditions that produce them. And this is not some theory, we have decades of data to back this up. Let's start with crime. Most high violence neighborhoods, they map out almost perfectly onto areas of concentrated poverty, eviction, unemployment, and state abandonment. The violence doesn't decline just because people start quote-unquote acting right. It declines when you change the environment. We saw this in both Baltimore's Park Heights and Cherry Hills neighborhoods. The Safe Streets program cut homicides by 56% and non-fatal shootings by 34%. In New York City, Cure Violence ran similar initiatives in Bronzeville, East New York, and South Jamaica, all areas with some of the city's highest poverty and segregation rates. They saw a 14% average reduction in shootings, translating roughly to about 1,300 shootings prevented over a decade. Chicago's West Garfield Park, Inglewood, and North Lawndale neighborhoods saw significant declines when community members, not police, mediated conflicts and provided support. Across 27 predominantly Black low-income neighborhoods studied nationally, 68% of outcomes showed measurable, statistically significant violence reductions. These programs didn't just preach morality, they directly addressed poverty, trauma, and instability. Outreach workers connected high-risk young men to paid transitional jobs, GED programs, rental assistance, and emergency cash support. They provided on-call crisis counseling, responding to shootings to prevent retaliation. They walked families through trauma responses at neighborhood clinics. They gave risk residents access to stable, long-term employment, as well as resources to treatment. And as a result, the violence dropped. When violence decreases and stability increases, you start to see it affect education. Not because kids gain better values, but because their environment stops punishing them for being poor. Take Cincinnati's West End, Evanston, and Avondale neighborhoods, for example. When schools shifted to the community schools model, they didn't lecture students about responsibility, they removed the barriers that made a healthy learning environment impossible. Schools became resource hubs, free meals, healthcare, dental care, trauma counseling, attendance support, social workers, transportation help, after-school programs, arts programs, family resource centers. The results were immediate. Graduation rates jumped from 51% to 88%. Absenteeism fell, and behavioral issues collapsed. Why? Not because the culture magically changed or because kids didn't want to be like rappers anymore, but because the conditions did. New York City saw the same pattern across Harlem, South Bronx, Bronzeville, and Central Brooklyn. Community schools produced a 24% drop in chronic absenteeism, a 10% increase in credit accumulation, and sharp declines in suspensions. Oakland Unified told the same story in East Oakland and Fruitvale. Restorative justice addressed behavioral treatment, not punishment. Graduation rates rose, and students that were once labeled disruptive became high performers once their trauma was met with care instead of cops. And why does this magically work? Because the root problem that conservatives blame on thug culture was just a symptom. It was about hunger, housing instability, untreated health issues, trauma, and the stress of poverty. And when you address those conditions, you see performance rise, because students finally have the material stability required to show up and succeed. What's powerful is how these domains reinforce one another once the material foundation changes. When families have stable housing, children experience fewer interruptions in schooling. When parents aren't drowning in financial anxiety, the household becomes calmer, and the likelihood of youth involvement in violence falls. When schools have resources and provide restorative responses, young people receive care instead of criminalization, keeping them in classrooms and out of the pipeline that destabilizes communities. When crime drops because economic survival is no longer scarce, neighborhoods become safer, local institutions strengthen, and networks of mutual support grow. Improvements in one area cause downstream improvements in the others, because they were never separate problems to begin with. They were different manifestations of the same structural root. And mind you, these conservative pundits know this. It's why you never see them talk policy or any sort of meaningful programs or initiatives that offer hands-on-the-ground support for our communities. They know the minute you address the real concerns, the money bag goes away. When I posted the humorous teaser to this video last month, I had a lot of comments like this that tried to take the centrist approach. Maybe it's policy and culture. I mean, Pillboy, those conservatives have some points. But if you actually wanted to see these issues resolved, you'd get to the real meat of the problem. They're not doing that. That's because real systemic solutions don't pay the bills. These hollow, surface-level critiques are not going to solve anything. The truth is unavoidable. Fixing the system produces better outcomes than lecturing individuals ever has. Crime declines when neighborhoods are materially supported. Education improves when students' basic needs are met. Family stability strengthens when capitalism's pressures are lifted. The system is the root. The culture is merely the echo, and every measurable improvement we have comes from addressing the former. This is what real community accountability looks like. Supporting the people who need help, stepping in to protect our neighborhoods when the system abandons us. We talk all the time about saving our communities, about wanting safer streets, better schools, and stronger families, but this is what actually produces that. You can spend all day lecturing kids to avoid gangs and crime, which you should, but unless you're also engaging in steps to substantially improve the conditions that led them down these paths to begin with, you're not accomplishing anything. Mind you, like I said earlier, these are not some easy one-step fix to decades, if not centuries, of systemic neglect and design. But understand when problems are being addressed with actual solutions and tangible data in mind versus hollow, regurgitated talking points that only serve to placate white supremacy. It's the linchpin of all the banes that continue to plague us. And so long as it exists, there will always be black folks willing to defend it out of ignorance, out of profit, or most times both. Just know that choosing the latter always comes with a price tag. And whether or not you can afford the cost afterwards is a choice that's up to you.
Fuck out of here.
As I bled to death, as my very life oozed out of me, all I could think of was something the great Negro James Baldwin had written.
What the fuck?
People pay for what they do, and still more for what they have allowed themselves to become. And they pay for it very simply by the lives they lead. Maybe Baldwin was right. Maybe he was wrong. But as my father often told me,
yeah, I'm off that. Good. He was cooking on that whole video. Not even gonna lie.
That nigga didn't lie.
Not one bit.
And he had the facts to back it up.
Yeah, I fuck with that. Good watch. Peep this though. How long is this one? 2 minutes. Oh, King back.
They say a black man was killed, but destroying these buildings has to stop.
I remember this when it first dropped.
Destroying these buildings is the least of your worries. An innocent black man should never be killed by a cop. They say, Patrick, you shouldn't speak up, man. You might lose some of your brand deals. My people have been dying of injustice for centuries. I don't give a damn how a brand feels. In my comments, talking about all lives matter. Yeah, that's because whenever you hear the word shoot, it's always followed by a ladder. COVID-19 is what they told us to fear. 19 years is what a Minnesota cop called a career. Yeah, that's how many years he was on the force before he killed George Floyd with no remorse. Put his knee on his neck without a worry or care while big man Floyd was gasping for air.
Did he write this shit or is he freestyle?
That's what I don't know.
These cops go through life with care and ease.
Too much rhyming for me.
While one of my brothers pleads,
This shit sound
I
like
can't
Chirac.
breathe.
You seen that movie?
Which one?
Chirac.
Yep.
That's what he
Quick to do the woe and dance savage on TikTok.
It's just red as fuck.
But I've been looking at your
Shit,
posts. You've been
motherfucker.
silent, so kick rocks. You want people to think that you're active and woke? Put your money where your mouth is. Go out and vote. Tired of living life on a hope and a prayer. You want to make real change? Vote a good mayor. These innocent names have been turned into hashtags and the deaths we could avoid. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Rest in peace, George Floyd.
Bro, no way that nigga had something on his back.
Yep. Hell no. Yeah, nah.
Jeez Louise, brother. Could have went without that one.
How long y'all think it took to wash off? Shit, I don't know. Hopefully it was a permanent mark. Oh, wait. But shit, y'all. Yeah, y'all got a 2 hour 52 minute out of us. I ain't gonna lie. We better get the fuck up over here. We'll be back on this motherfucking manana tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Good morning.
Deuces.
Dukes, man. Yeah, and don't end up on Midwest Safety and all that fly shit.
And don't make a poem like King Batch. Jesus Christ.
That shit was fucking horrible. Alright, y'all, we out. Peace.
Yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip. Yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Everybody got something to say in the background. Niggas throw rocks and hide their hands, they ain't tough now. Kobe in the clutch every time they wanna act foul. It's out of weeds, out of packs, only smoking on loud. Go to Vegas, catch a flight, nigga, I put my feet up. Sliding down the strip, nigga, throwing threes and peas up. Out with my bitch and she swear I'm doing 3 months. You gotta be this way when you tryna run some ends up. Driving like a storm, had the Charlie burnt the whole clutch. Yellow coupe in the sun, nigga, I'm tryna turn up. Hit her engine growling every corner when I pull up. Slapping Mag Dre in the whip, tryna go down. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.
You a hating ass nigga, why you mad at the bitch? Go outside about the bitch, cause she choosing the shit. Ayy, watch how you choosing the bitch, end up losing the bitch. Now you boo-hooing shit, ayy. Oh, green ass, trick off, crying ass. Where you going off, stalking ass nigga with your talking ass? I'm a walking ass, standing on 10 ass nigga. L's gon' come, count the wins, little nigga. Ayy, yup, point is, running to the ceiling. Hit the hoe, split the hoe, stay up at your feelings. If you get it, you get it. Dream chasing, I don't want no dealings.
Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud. Get the money, make it flip, yes, I got a stack now. You know I had to call a play, score a winning touchdown. Can't hear no hating ass nigga in the background. Every time a nigga start hating, they wanna act loud.